Well, we back with more creepypasta. What else are we gonna do on a Wednesday night? The shtick is to guess if the pasta being read is from the creepypasta proper or from the Crappypasta training wiki. Sometimes a little more difficult than you think. So I got 7 or so pastas lined up. Don't know if we'll get through all of them, but we'll see. Let me prepare the first one. Oh, this fucking roller coaster tycoon shit. God damn it. Alright, here we go. What? Alright. Why is nothing playing? Fuck. It's always such a bitch working with this text-to-speech reader website. Because, like, the week I find out about it, they decide to change their layout, and it totally fucks my OBS layout. And now, maybe if I refresh.
I'm Ben.
Nice. All right.
I'm 19 years old.
Alright, so we got colorblind and slightly delusional. Let's have a listen.
I'm Ben. I'm 19 years old, and I'm creating this journal because I feel like it's almost a necessity for me to record what I'm starting to notice and what I've been through over the past few weeks. Now, the first few entries are going to be me just recalling what has gone on over the past few weeks, but I'll try and write in this thing regularly. Monday. So Monday started off as any typical Monday might. I woke up, took a shower, got dressed, and so on. I went down to eat breakfast, which usually consisted of a Pop-Tart or two, and was about to leave and go meet up with my friend Greg, but the phone rang as I was opening the front door. I seriously wish that I hadn't answered the phone, that I just said, "Screw it, Greg's waiting for me," and left the house. However, I didn't, and I have a large suspicion that everything from this point on that's been happening is all because of that one phone call. I answered the phone and casually said, "Hello." The line immediately burst into a series of heavy breaths, and was followed up with, "Hello. Is anyone there? Who is this?" I was about to reply, but I thought myself a bit too clever for the average prank caller, so I just replied with, "Listen, whoever you are. I know this is a prank, and I'm running late, so don't call here again, okay?" The line disconnected, probably from the caller's identity being found out. I left, and the rest of the day was pretty uneventful. Aside from this strange look that this lady at the restaurant me and Greg were eating at gave me. She looked like I was screaming at her.
What was this called? They called my Saturday afternoon? Colorblind and slightly delusional? Okay. Great fucking start, I guess.
She looked like I was screaming at her, but I was just casually chatting with Greg about girls we liked, and stupid stuff like that. She just kept staring until finally I got up and went over to her to ask her to stop staring, please. When I approached her booth, she started flipping out, and I don't mean like she started laughing or she got angry at me for accusing her, and in fact I never even got a word into the conversation. I approached, and she started screaming like I had a knife or something, and was full on chasing her to death. Tuesday. I woke up on Tuesday with a grin on my face, and I have no idea why. I was feeling really good when I got up too. I went through my normal morning routine, and everything was normal until breakfast. I toasted my normal 2 Pop-Tarts, but I didn't eat them. I usually love Pop-Tarts.
Pop-Tart's a critical part of the story.
I just wasn't feeling them for some reason. I looked at the calendar, thought that I should probably go to the grocery store for some more Pop-Tarts, and realized that today was my mom's birthday. I had completely forgotten
shit,
like I
would've got more
always do, so I
Pop-Tarts.
quickly reached for the phone and was about to pick it up when it abruptly started to ring. I little jumpy today, I thought to myself, as I had just leaped on top of one of my kitchen chairs in an instant reaction to the jump scare. Thinking that it'd be my mom calling to remind me of her big day, I answered in a smaller, quieter, and overall sweeter voice than I normally do. "Hello," I timidly said, trying to be a little less mature to please my mom. "You've got to help me out, man. These things, I don't know what they are, but these things, man. They're going to get me, I just know it. I'm going to fall asleep one night, and I'll never wake up. You've got to help me." As I cut him off short when I, shocked and startled, slammed the phone back on the wall and backed away. That wasn't a prank call. No, that was way too real. Who was that? How did he get my number? What does he want from me? Was it him on the phone yesterday? Was yesterday's call real too? I don't know, and I'm so confused at this point that I forgot completely about going to the grocery store and picking up more Pop-Tarts and soda. I sat on my couch watching TV for the rest of the day. I took a nap at around 2 p.m. and woke up to the sound of tiny feet, or maybe somebody tiptoeing across my kitchen. I got up and decided to grab a snack so that I could eat something.
Was it a
I was really
Pop-Tart?
hungry for some reason, but probably because I hadn't eaten anything all day. As I walked into the kitchen to grab a snack, I noticed something. It wasn't really that noticeable at first, and I thought that I had possibly done it on accident. I looked in my pantry for some cereal, and I kept all of my cereal on the top shelf, but for some reason the cereal was out of order, and it wasn't like I cared. I just had them usually lined up in the order that I bought them, but no, the Frosted Flakes were where I remember the Cocoa Puffs being, and everything was mismatched.
Don't worry,
I
we'll get to
scanned
the
my
color
pantry
blindness
and noticed that
at
the
some
same
point.
fate had befallen everything else
have
in
some
my
faith.
pantry too. Just casually misplaced items in my pantry. It was all supposed to be there, but just not in that order. I replaced all of the items, not because I have OCD, but because it kinda freaked me out. I usually put everything right back in its place. I was wondering if it would happen again. This is also the last night that has already happened. I'm writing this at 10
What up,
p.m.
Mr.
on
Ruse?
Tuesday,
How's it going?
and tomorrow begins the unknown. Wednesday. So today started off terrible. I woke up sweating and noticed that I had wet the bed. I can't remember having any dreams that night, or even waking up due to my accident. I haven't peed in the bed since I was 4, so to say that it had come as a shock is an understatement. I went downstairs, and guess what? My damn pantry was all jumbled up again. I clearly remember putting everything back in order. So who was going around at night in my
Oh, this
house
should be a
and mixing
scary
everything up
roller
in my
coaster part.
pantry?
Ah,
Except that
That's
today
good.
it wasn't
Good
just
idea.
my pantry, it was also my bathroom. My floss, toothpaste, mouthwash, shampoo, face wash, and soap were all not like I had them.
yeah.
I noticed something in my pantry too. Something that scares me. I was looking closely at a jar of Nutella, and I noticed a thin, jagged circle etched
Oh,
around
fuck
the
Nutella,
T in
bruh.
the name. I looked closer at it, and every time I blinked it was still there. I checked a box of granola bars and found the same type of circle etched around the O in granola. That's when it hit me. Both times where everything was out of place, everything was facing me. All the labels were facing me. I quickly put everything back like it was where I woke up, and found an old magnifying glass to quickly find the circled letters on the boxes.
What the fuck?
Here's what I got so far, starting from the top shelf to the very left. LEFTONUOYNACTUBDNILBRUOLOCERAUOY. That's everything that I had in my pantry that was facing me. I even checked all the items in my bathroom, and sure enough they had circles on them too, so here is what they had. SIDOOLBDIUQILYKCITSATAHW. Some letters were circled twice on the items in my bathroom, but I still have no idea what they mean. I took a bath today, for I needed to relax. I got in the bath, and instantly I regretted it. The water was dark, and that meant that something was wrong with my filter. I know I'm probably going to need to fix that soon. The water was also really thick and dense. I was floating pretty easily in it, and I'm pretty sure that more wire than normal is getting into the stream. I didn't notice until I got out of the bath and tried to dry myself off, but I was sticky. I don't know why, but the towel would pull at my skin where I tried to wipe off the water. Something is definitely wrong with my water filter. I was getting dressed from the bath, and I noticed something scurry across the floor. It was only in the very edge of my peripheral view, but I could see it. It was long, black, and smelled like blood. I got up from my bed and slowly walked out of the room. I knew it was there, but did it know that I knew? Thursday. I almost died. I can't believe it.
I almost died.
Or am I already dead? I don't know anymore. I'm not at my house anymore, and I'm not even sure if I'm on Earth, but I was walking through my house, and I'm texting my girlfriend Elena, but I can hear something in the kitchen, so I make my way towards the area, and I stop dead. They're right there. Something is going through my pantry, and I have no idea what it is. It had long scaly arms, but no hands at the end, only one long claw that was stretched out over a foot long. He was completely black, and everywhere he walked he left puddles of black liquid. His back had long needle-like thorns stretching out of every vertebrae, and his legs were basically thick, jagged messes of thorns and razor-sharp scales. The back of his head was tiny, and I could tell that his head overall was very small compared to how tall he was, like 7-8 feet, but the back of his head was smooth and black. What happened next has put me where I am now, and I don't wish this upon even my worst enemy. It's just the unknown. There are random items thrown around here, but let me tell what happened. I was mortified and paralyzed.
Mortified? Oh my god.
Then Elena texted back, "Yeah, dinner sounds
Fuck
nice."
me.
I looked down at the sound of my phone buzzing, read the text, and looked back up. It was staring at me, and I froze. Its face was white, and I'm pretty sure it had on a mask. I'm colorblind, and I really don't have any idea how that would have helped me, but I really can only tell black and white, and this place is pitch black. He lunged for me, and I stood still. His claw-like arms clamped down on my sides, and I passed out. I woke up here, but something's different, and it's almost like I can't speak. Everything is a murmur, and even I can't hear my own thoughts without them muttering instead of speaking with diction. I don't think that I've ever even opened my mouth here, and now that I'm trying I can't. I'm mute here. Where am I? It's a good thing I still have my phone, so I can still record what's going on, but I tried using it like a flashlight, but it's like I'm in a black hole. Nothing happens. Like I said, there are random objects around here, and I don't know why, but I was walking around about 2 hours ago, and I saw a random phone. It looked like a normal payphone, but I noticed there weren't any numbers to dial. I picked it up, and it started calling. I got scared, so I hung up and left. Besides, I can't speak in here anyways, so what's the point? Friday. A week since I first started this journal, and I'm still lost in this void, but I'm learning things. If you close your eyes when you're walking around here, you see much more, and it's all in color, or what I take to be color. There are entire rooms just built into nothing. They look like they have just been teleported here from another dimension. Also, there are more than one of those monsters that dragged me down here. They're everywhere. In almost every room I find whenever I close my eyes, and they're always near some nest of objects. I watched one a little while ago, and the thing gathers a bunch of stuff from some randomly generated bedroom, and one by one picks it up and puts it down.
A bedroom
I have
RNG.
no idea what they're doing, but it seems oddly familiar. That's it. They are circling the letters. I knew that those randomly circled numbers had to have had some significant meaning. But what do they mean, or are they just randomly picked out by these creatures? I thought about the letters, and I looked over what I had recorded. LEFTONUOYNACTUBDNILBRUOLOCERAUOY. It meant nothing from left to right, but if I read it from right to left it read, "You were colorblind, but can you not feel?" The water in my bathtub wasn't water, and everything that had been getting darker, it wasn't. Something was being coated on top of it. The second message read, SIDOOLBDIUQILYKCITSATAHW, but again that was left to right. Right to left it read, "What a sticky liquid blood is." It could be that everything, the bath water, the pools left behind by those creatures, the darkness in my mind, was it all blood? And the phone calls in the morning, could those have all been from people just like me? I mean, there were at least 3 digit pay phones that I had passed, and there were obviously more than one of those things out here. Could those phone calls have been warning me of this, or could they just been somebody's desperate attempt to leave this place? Was I not alone here? Could there be more than one other human being in this emptiness? Where am I? Please help me. One comment. Wow. Just wow. I love this. Awesome writing style, nice amount of suspense and mystery and all that good stuff.
I agree.
Love it. Less than 3. 10 out of 10.
Yeah. Wow, my god. So now's your chance to vote on your phones if you think that was from, the real Creepypasta or the fake training Crappypasta wiki. Well, there was a too spooky warning, bruh. Fuck, let me queue up the next one. Oh, what? They are coming. Oh my god. Yeah, so that was actually from the real Creepypasta. Just FYI. So if you guessed right, give yourself 1 point. And now we have My Last Halloween. Let's change the voice.
Halloween used to be my favorite holiday.
Yeah.
It was the one time of year you could be anything you wanted to be. You could draw out your darkest desires and display them for the world to see. No one would think you were odd for being the person you always wanted to be. There was no judgment for your choice of attire, and oftentimes you were commended for that choice. Then at the end of the night, you received a reward for your efforts in the form of a bag full of candy. I am far too old to go door to door, begging for treats, but I enjoy watching my children do the same. Weeks in advance we let them pick their costumes. They are far too young to delve into the ghastly and usually end up picking a character of a popular movie or TV show. I simply take my pictures and urge them onto each doorway. I always remind them to say, "Trick or treat," before the door opens. It has been this way for a few years now, but I am starting to question the tradition, especially after visiting 113 Forest Road. This past year we made the rounds of our local neighborhood. We made sure to only approach homes that had their porch light on, which was the unspoken rule.
What the hell happened? Fuck. Oh god.
Most come to an end when we reach. This past year we made the rounds of our local neighborhood. We made sure to only approach homes that had their porch light on, which was the unspoken rule. Our night had almost come to an end when we reached a home that had been vacant for the last 2 seasons. It was the largest within our neighborhood, towering at 2 stories when all others only had 1 level. It was a large brick Victorian monstrosity that may have once been beautiful, but the landscape had long needed work. It was the house most kids made stories about, and when we
Yeah, this TTS has a lot of problems. Its other really litty meme is to repeat lines indefinitely, which is really great. Or to spell out punctuation. So I might try and find a replacement for it, but this is all I got in the meantime. But it does have a lot of voices, which I like.
It was the house most kids made stories about, and when we saw the dim glow of that yellow bulb, I was unsure of letting my children approach. My oldest begged to ring the doorbell, and my youngest simply wanted more candy. I was outnumbered and relented at their pleas. My wife sat within the idling vehicle while I followed close behind.
Oh shit, I forgot to change the
The two made
music.
their way up the steps, and I waited at the bottom. Like always, I reminded him of what to say. My oldest son held his brother's hand and pressed the lighted button. Ringing, much like church bells, echoed from within the house for a moment, before returning to silence. After a few seconds, they turned to me with questioning looks. I had noticed a moving truck parked outside their home earlier in the month and knew someone must live there, but I had not seen him. There was no car in the driveway, and I did not see any lights on inside. I started to think they were simply gone, and left the light on in case it was dark by the time they returned. I waved to my children to come back to the car and told them we would just head home. The look of disappointment on their faces told me they were not ready to end the night just yet. Their faces lit up as the door creaked to life and a voice beckoned them to wait. Trick or treat, they both screamed with excitement.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
A feeling rolled in me like thunder, and a signal of danger rang in my head. Something was not right. If they were home all this time, where was the car I had seen sitting the driveway the last few weeks? I instinctively advanced on my 2 children, taking the steps in leaps. A feeling inside told me they should not go toward that voice, and I called for them to stop as they turned toward the door. I chose both. The voice seemed strained, like that of a lifetime smoker. 2 ragged hands shot from the parted pathway, and drew both of my little boys inside. Their screams echoed in my head. My adrenaline shot me forward, but my body slammed against a closing door. I pounded repeatedly, screaming obscenities of every nature. My body shook violently as my world became a spiral of despair. The whole team drew the attention of my wife, and soon she was right behind me. In an effort to find the entry, I took a step back, lifted my right foot, and dropped it full force into the hardwood. The door frame shattered, allowing the barrier to fly freely into the darkness. I cried out in terror for my little boys as I rushed through each room. My entire reason for living had been snatched up in an instant, and I had been too late to stop it. When the house had been searched completely with no results, my wife phoned the authorities through wails of agony. We both held each other until sirens lit up our tiny neighborhood. It has been a year now, and we still have no answer as to what happened to our children. My wife distanced herself from me, and I am sure she blames me for what happened. I don't fault her for that, I blame myself as well. If I had not let them go to that door or listened to my feelings sooner, they would both still be here. Halloween is no longer a time of fun for us, but a reminder of our mistakes. I don't even leave my house on that night, and even the sight of a pumpkin makes tears stream down my face.
Oh shit, a
The
pumpkin.
drive home from work is especially hard, witnessing the houses that decorate for the occasion. I am almost in a panic before I close myself within the safety of my home. Please, if you read this, don't let your kids visit 113 Forest Road on Halloween. Comments. I loved it. Dang, Sam. Back at it again with his old schemes and trick R-Treat 3. I hate to be the wet blanket, but I think this story could be stronger. I didn't really find it scary, some of the execution is in need of a polish. Unfortunately, even if you cleaned up the execution, there still wouldn't really be enough of a story here. This is of course my opinion, and so take it as you will.
Yeah, whoever left
Congrats on the
that comment, give that
narrations. In any
person a
case,
raise.
Man, I remember seeing the Shadow Reader narrate this and give it his review.
Narrate?
I was shocked. I thought a story by a writer like he would have no trouble whatsoever appealing to him.
Oh, and that's it. That was a lot shorter. Fuck. Damn. Kinda reminds me of a creepypasta I once read about a kid who gets kidnapped by Santa Claus on Christmas Day. So I guess the gist is kids went out on Halloween and then they got kidnapped. Well, I would say 10 out of 10. But now's the time to place your votes, place your guesses for whether that came from Creepypastaville or Crappypastaville. And I'm gonna load up the next one. Oh shit. My Last Halloween. And let's see, how about...
We moved here, March 1995.
Yeah, that'll work. Baby a triple. So that story, believe it or not, was also from the Creepypasta Wiki. And I didn't cherry pick these, I just did random story. They have a link you can click on the Creepypasta Wiki and the Crappypasta Wiki to just be taken to a random story, and these were the first couple that I got that had some meat to them. Some of them, they're too short, probably not worth setting them up and stuff like that, so I tend to go for longer ones. I guess that one wasn't that long, so that's on me. But Creepypasta Wiki is 2 for 2. So let's begin The Wardrobe in the Woods.
We moved here, March 1995, on St. Patrick's Day to a little cul-de-sac. A dead-end area surrounded by 4 houses, the street ended at a big, thick wooded area. None of us know how long they've been here, but neither of us have ever gone venturing into the woods. We would only stand at the entrance and see how far we could see. But at night, we would only gaze from afar in the driveway. The woods were dark at night, so we would never see anything in the darkness. Late at night, around midnight, I would listen to the soothing sounds outside my window, and would usually turn out the lights in my room and gaze out the window to stare at the woods, seeing nothing at all. However, I would sometimes hear the howling of wolves and other things, while also hearing what I believed to be yelling out there. But I was never curious enough to check out my window. I just sat next to it and listened at the desk. As for me, I didn't like the dark. Not that I was afraid of the dark or anything, I just liked to listen to soothing music at night, with an acceptable volume of course. The music drowned out the cries and howls of woodland creatures, however the voices I'd hear could still be heard over the music either way. But as curious as I was, it wasn't enough to make me want to go into the woods anyway, and I was probably the only one who really heard these sounds. But it did make me wonder though. One late afternoon, one of our neighbor had gone wandering into the woods looking for items that had been dumped out there, as he was a collector. And he would always tell us that one person's trash was another person's treasure. And when he would return, he would always have a story to tell. One day though, he came out of the woods talking about a nice, perfectly well-crafted wardrobe that he had found in the meadow. At this time, I wasn't aware that we even had a meadow. But then again, I had never, or even planned to, set foot out in the woods anyway. Our neighbor liked the wardrobe he had found, and wanted it, but unfortunately he didn't have room for it. And every day so far, he would go out there to see if it was still there. But one evening, our neighbor went out there seeking the wardrobe, but he didn't return, and his wife had told us that his side of the bed had remained cold from not being slept on. The police did a full search of the entire area for 2 full weeks, but never found any traces of our missing neighbor at all, almost as if he simply vanished into thin air. The search went on for another month or 2, until one of the detectives' dog picked up the scent trail around where the wardrobe still stood. No surprise there. Our neighbor was always near that old piece of furniture. They even found some old footprints near the wardrobe, except they stopped at the wardrobe door but weren't found anywhere else. The air grew cold as the leaves began to fall. I gazed out of my window as gray clouds covered the sky. Winter was coming, and the weatherman had said that it was going to snow. This made me excited as any child would be, since snow days were what every young child always looked forward to, as it meant that there would be no school. It meant the same for me, but I wasn't thinking about being out of school, I was thinking about our neighbor. I couldn't believe that the police officers would just decide to call off the search. However, I found the story they told to be strange. How could the footprints just vanish? I couldn't really believe the story they told. No one did anyway, but they accepted it and moved on. But I wasn't going to just accept it and move on. Something happened to our neighbor.
What a
and when
contrarian.
I went to play in the snow, I was going to go and take a closer look at the wardrobe. Opening the blinds, I sit by my window and watch the snowfall while I drink hot chocolate. The snow was sticking and it looked deep, and the neighborhood kids were already out making a snowman. As for me, I was waiting until my parents came home from work. I wasn't going out in the snow until they were home. I just felt better about being outside in the snow knowing they were there, especially since I still had plans to go and check out that wardrobe that was out in the woods. Around 5 o'clock my parents arrive home from work, so I grab my coat and went out to greet them. A minute later my dad records me with the video cam for a few minutes as the batteries were low. They allow me to continue playing in the snow while they were inside getting a fire going and cook dinner. I realize now that this was my chance and head towards the woods.
Oh shit, bro.
This would be the first time I'd ever set foot in them since I moved here, so I was sure to leave pile of sticks and rocks as markers so that I could find my way back. The woods look more inviting than before with the ice hanging from the branches and the snow glittering like diamonds on the forest floor, and I got chills as I continued farther. Eventually I finally discover the wardrobe, and I got more chills as I got a closer look. There were strange carvings on the wardrobe, with mythical creatures and some kind of large cat, which looked like somebody had been carving over it, my neighbor perhaps? Reaching out, I grab hold of the knob with shaky fingers. I did not know why I felt nervous. It was just a wardrobe, right? Ignoring the butterflies in my stomach, I open the wardrobe and peer inside, surprised to find nothing but darkness. It was strange. I thought, where was the interior within the wardrobe? There is nothing inside, nothing but a dark void. I feel I should turn back, but at the same time, I want to know what had happened to my neighbor, so I step into the dark abyss of the wardrobe's interior. Oddly enough, I step out into what looks to be another wooded area, except now, snow appeared to be just covering the ground. And turning to glance back inside the wardrobe, I could see the area I had just come from, still covered in snow. It was then I figured out what had happened. I somehow have entered another realm through the wardrobe, and maybe our neighbor did too. I feel as if I should be excited about this, but I wasn't for some strange reason.
For some strange reason.
Continuing on my journey, I soon come across what looked like some sort of lamppost and decided to get a closer look. Studying it more, I realized that it was actually rooted into the ground. But as I explore farther, I am surprised when I come across some statues that are scattered around in different poses. Most of them appear to be animals. There is even a large lion that looks like it is ready to pounce. As I study each of the statues, I am surprised to see almost human-like expressions frozen on all their faces, and the lion statue appears to be really sad with frozen tears running down its face, too. I feel sad looking at all of them, almost like they were once alive. But then, out of the corner of my eye, I see another statue among the animals and turn my head.
Stegosauruses.
At this moment, I feel horrified when I recognize the frozen monument. It is my missing neighbor from across the street, stuck in a frightening, pleading pose. And he has tears that are engraved into the stone itself, much like the other statues. At that moment I hear what sounds like the jingling of bells, heading towards where I am. As the jingling got louder, I was already running back towards the lamppost and the wardrobe, too scared to look back. Whatever or whoever it was, I don't want to stick around and find out. Whatever it was that was coming probably had something to do with those statues, and I don't want to end up the same way. I don't know whether or not the jingling is following me, but it had gotten louder and I could now hear snarling right behind me and ran faster. Finding the wardrobe again, I run inside and stumble back out into the snow-covered woods, shutting the door behind me quickly. I gather my strength and hurry home. Surprisingly, nothing has really happened since I left, but my dad comes out to me just as I open the door to tell me that the trash collector would be coming tomorrow, and to tell me that I needed to get to bed. But throughout the night I was unable to sleep. Every time I close my eyes I see the statues of those animals, that lion as well as our neighbor. All of them with engraved tears frozen on their faces. Just thinking about it brought tears to my eyes too. I awoke the next day to the sound of a garbage truck, and looking out my window I am very stunned to see the wardrobe being put in with the rest of the garbage in the truck. However, I feel very relieved as I'm watching it drive away. Never again would I see that wardrobe ever again. And I've already made up my mind not to tell anybody what I've experienced.
What?
I doubt that they would believe me. It seemed like a dream almost, a dream that I never want to have again. Comments.
I'm not gonna tell
This
anyone,
story
but I'm
is
just
really
gonna
creepy.
write about it on the
But
Creepypasta
it does
wiki.
have a good ending to it. 12/10 Definitel T. Reminds me of Narnia. I expected something a little more juicy than a custom spin, knockoff of Narnia. 5.510. It did seem a BKT like Chronicles of Narnia, except with a nice touch. It would have been great to know what exactly happened to him and all the creatures, but I guess that's what the imagination is for. Well done. Dash closing parenthesis. Just copied Narnia but in the woods. Wow. I like the whole neighbor going in and getting lost part. Booten, couldn't it not be the scene from Narnia? Hello, Growly, I would love if you can make a part 2 of this.
A part 2?
I really enjoyed
What?
this.
The wardrobe's destroyed. It was taken to the dump. What the fuck do you want? Bruh. So that was scary? Maybe? Question mark? Thinking emoji? Kinda just seems like you went into a wardrobe and found a frozen guy and frozen animals and then left. And yeah, it did sound like Narnia. I just remembered that movie. The Lion, Witch, and Wardrobe. Wow, that was a fucking ripoff. Jeez, that dude was right. Fuck a doodle. Well, shit. That was, something, I guess. Wardrobe in the Woods. 10 out of 10, I think? What'd that guy give it? 5.5? Man, what an asshole. 5.5 out of 10? What a jerk. At least give it 6. Well, shit. Yeah, so I'll give you a minute to guess if that was real or fake. Not that creepypastas are fake, but, we don't take them seriously. And I'll be, right back. I'm gonna use the restroom. Be gone for a second. BRB. Alrighty. I guess I should say I don't mind reading them myself, but if I'm reading them, I can't really focus on any game. So it's like TTS and gameplay, or just me reading. Which is why I always read creepypastas during Sir Phobos' solo streams. There's usually a bit of dead time where grinding's involved, and perfect time to crack out a creepypasta. Fuck, this is not going well. $300 in debt. I guess people are going to the rides, but shit. I guess hiring 20 entertainers wasn't the best move. I'll fix that. But yeah, for anyone curious, that Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe was from the Creepypasta wiki. Go figure. And I avoid saying the authors' names because sometimes it's a dead giveaway of whether it's from the Creepypasta or Crappypasta wiki. I guess I should say it at the end after I've revealed. I'll probably do that next time, include the author's name. And I just thought this time to include comments as part of the TTS. Oh, it is in there. Oh no, it isn't. Yeah. Alright, cool. So now we got Pericles, what? We have the Christmas of Terror. Ooh, shit. Let's swap up the music. What the fuck? I wonder if that works. Let me see. Nice. If anyone does manage a bingo, we're prepared to celebrate. Oh, nice. That's cool. Alright, let's get to the pasta.
It was a cold night in December of 2003. The snow was falling in the ground as police sirens were echoing through the night. 8-year-old Pericles Athanasiadou had killed his 19-year-old sister named Vasiliki Athanasiadou. Police soon arrived in the house that the killing seemingly took place. A 43-year-old man named Dr. Billy arrived outside the house with his Volkswagen camper. Billy went out of his van and asked a policeman what had happened. The policeman told him almost the entire story about the killing of Vasiliki. Another policeman took Pericles and put him in his police car. Paramedics carried the body of the dead girl. As Billy saw it, he felt a strange fascination about the killing. A policeman told Billy that Pericles will be transferred in the asylum that Billy was working as a doctor. Billy went again in his camper and started driving behind the police car that Pericles was in. After a few minutes the police car arrived in the asylum. The policeman went out his police car and took Pericles out of the police car. Then they walked inside the asylum. Billy also went out his camper and arrived in the asylum. In 2008, Pericles killed another patient in the asylum. Billy couldn't believe what had happened, but he knew that Pericles probably had something supernatural inside of him. When Billy went to his home, he decided to do a research about the killing of Vasiliki. Some rumors on the internet were saying that Pericles had an Anunnaki inside of him. What? Billy decided to do some research on what an Anunnaki was.
Yeah.
Billy wasn't believing much in the supernatural, but he knew that this time there was most likely something really weird about that boy. In 2013-2014, Billy along with the asylum secretary Stephanie decided to execute Pericles without the knowledge of the other staff of the asylum. Stephanie was driving her car towards the asylum. When they arrived, Billy went out of the car with a pistol in order to kill Pericles. However, he saw that Pericles along with 2 other patients were running out of the asylum. Billy tried to shoot them, however, with mostly no avail. The patients stole a cement truck and drove off in the rainy night. Billy was screaming as he seemingly knew how dangerous Pericles was. A few months later, Georgia along with her friends, named Nick and DHMHTRHs, were driving their car towards the mountain they wanted to camp. A few months later, Georgia along with her friends, named Nick and DHMHTRHs, were driving their car towards the mountain they wanted to camp. A few months later, Georgia along with her friends, named Nick and DHMHTRHs, were driving their car towards the mountain they wanted to camp. A few months later, Georgia. It was a cold night in December of 2003. The snow was falling in the ground as police sirens were echoing through the night. 8-year-old Pericles Athanasiadou had killed his 19-year-old sister named Vasiliki Athanasiadou. Police soon arrived in the house that the killing seemingly took place. A 43-year-old man named Dr. Billy arrived outside the house with his Volkswagen camper. Billy went out of his van and asked a policeman what had happened. The policeman told him almost the entire story about the killing of Vasiliki. Another policeman took
Oh,
Pericles
shit.
and put him in his police car. Paramedics carried the body of the dead girl. As Billy saw it, he felt a strange fascination about the killing. A policeman told Billy that Pericles will be transferred in the asylum that
Oh,
Billy
fuck.
was working as a doctor. Billy went again in his camper and started driving behind the police. Seaman told Billy that Pericles will be transferred in the asylum that Billy was working as a doctor. Billy went again in his camper and started driving behind the police car that Pericles was in. After a few minutes the police car arrived in the asylum. The policeman went out his police car and took Pericles out of the police car. Then they walked inside the asylum. Billy also went out his camper and arrived in the asylum. In 2008, Pericles killed another patient in the asylum. Billy couldn't believe what had happened, but he knew that Pericles probably had something supernatural inside of him. When Billy went to his home, he decided to do a research about the killing of Vasily Key. Some rumors on the internet were saying that Pericles had an Anunnaki inside of him. Billy decided to do some research on what an Anunnaki was. Billy wasn't believing much in the supernatural, but he knew that this time there was most likely something really weird about that boy. In 2013-2014, Billy along with the asylum's secretary Stephanie decided to execute Pericles without the knowledge of the other staff of the asylum. Stephanie was driving her car towards the asylum. When they arrived, Billy went out of the car with a pistol in order to kill Pericles. However, he saw that Pericles along with two other patients were running out of the asylum. Billy tried to shoot them, however, with mostly no avail. The patients stole a cement truck and drove off in the rainy night. Billy was screaming as he seemingly knew how dangerous Pericles was. A few months later, Georgia along with her friends, named Nick and DHMHTRHs, were driving their car towards the mountain they wanted to camp. The friends went out of their car and made their tents for the night. An abandoned small villa was next to them. What they didn't know was that Pericles along with the other two patients named Michael and George were hiding in the villa. Meanwhile, Billy, Stephanie and a policeman named Vladimir were driving in Billy's camper and were trying to find Pericles. However, in the road the camper stopped as a semi-truck was blocking them. Billy was honking the camper's horn in order for the semi to start. The semi started a few minutes later. Vladimir told Billy about all these strange news about the RFID chips. Billy told Vladimir that these things are satanic and that he shouldn't take the chip no matter what will happen. Vladimir agreed. Stephanie was in the back seats of the camper and was reading a magazine about a game called Plants vs. Zombies, Garden Warfare.
What the fuck?
In the mountain, Pericles along with George and Michael were slaughtering George's friends. She was trying to escape as Pericles was chasing her with a chainsaw. It was dusk when Billy, Stephanie and Vladimir arrived in the mountain. When they arrived, they went out of the camper and started to look for Pericles. They saw the car of the teenagers and then Georgia came up to them. She was screaming. Billy along with Stephanie and Vladimir told Georgia to get in the camper. Stephanie and Vladimir also went in the camper. However, Billy wanted to kill Pericles and probably learn what he was. Pericles appeared with a chainsaw. Billy shooted him 3 times and Pericles fell in the ground, and Billy went in the camper and drove off. Georgia told Billy, Stephanie and Vladimir what had happened, and Billy told her that everything was probably okay now. Billy looked outside of one of the camper's windows and saw various strange figures, and he said, "There will be more dangerous things for us." Vladimir told him what did he meant, to which he replied, "Look outside." Vladimir saw these figures and understood that Pericles wouldn't be their only problem.
And that's it. Wow. Really? Hold on. What the fuck? Yeah, that's where it ends. What the shit? Started to sound like Halloween. You got Heracles, which I'm sorry, but I cannot take that name seriously unless it's like some Greek mythology shit going on. Heracles. And he's some demon possessed by something, and then you have a Dr. Billy who's kind of chasing after the dude and doing research on him. So you got your Dr. Loomis character. And wow, okay. Kind of a cliffhanger, but we'll roll with it. Fuck. Yeah, so, spoiler alert, that was also from the Creepypasta Wiki. Ooh, damn. Creepypasta Wiki on a roll this time. But maybe the Crappypasta will come through. The Training Wiki will deliver us something tasty. So let's check out Illegal Cosmetic Surgery Ruined My Life. Yes, indeed. Illegal cosmetic surgery.
I was the average loner girl throughout all of my schools. No one made an effort to hang out with me, unless it was me doing all the talking and inviting. I would only be given some attention when I did something stupid, cool. Eventually those 15 minutes of fame actually do last 15 minutes. I remember the first time I was called fat. It was in the 2nd grade. Middle school was worse than elementary school. High school wasn't so bad, but then again no one even noticed me in the first place. Can't say anything mean when they didn't see me. I was in a majority white school. I was the opposite of everyone else. They were tall and beautiful, blonde and blue-eyed. Those girls were everything I wanted to be.
Blonde and blue-eyed.
They got every boy attention. I wanted to be one of those girls that when they walked past a guy they whispered, "Damn, she's hot." But I wasn't. I was plain Jane. Short brown hair, brown eyes, fair skin. Hella fat. My most was 220 pounds, later on I was 180 pounds. Anyway, I was headed out to my local college when I thought I should stop but at a 7-Eleven and buy gum. I didn't have time to brush my teeth, and I bought a lotto ticket. I remember thinking I wish I could win 20 bucks. The next couple of days I googled the winning numbers and to my surprise I got all 6 of them. After I hyperventilated so much I nearly passed out, I decided I wouldn't tell anyone, even family, about it. I collected my money and drove back home. I decided it would be best to lay low for a while because I didn't want any media attention. Plus I don't live in the best neighborhood and I have seen enough of those movies where someone wins the lotto and tells everyone then they're killed or whatever. I lived at my place for a year before I moved somewhere else, told people I got lucky in stocks, idiots. My close family knows though. Even with all that money I felt inadequate. My financial status didn't match my looks. So I decided to get liposuction everywhere. Abdomen, arms, legs, thighs, back, you name it. After all that I had a breast augmentation, lift, and areola reduction. When that healed up I had full body laser hair removal and stretch mark removal and various skin fractal laser procedures.
Shit.
I was in pain for about a full year. My worst fear was never waking up from the table. If that happened my cause of death would have been because of the opinion of stupid people. Everything was done and healed up. I thought a wardrobe change would be great, considering everything was too big on me. I was never a materialistic person but I had money to blow. New animal skin designer bags, designer shoes, everything. I did start getting a bit of attention from men. I wasn't all that ugly after all. Just fat. But still I felt hideous knowing that there's a lot of women who were more beautiful than I. I contacted dozens of surgeons for facial surgery but none of them offered what I wanted. They said it was impossible to completely change my entire facial structure. Except for one of them. He said his colleague will be in touch with me. It was
Dr.
a night
Billy?
when I received a call from a doctor who said he can give me what I want and I can come in for a consultation next week. I agreed. I hired 3 bodyguards because I felt like what I was signing up for is a bit sketchy, and yeah, you'll see that I was right. The consultation was brief. He asked me what I desired to look like and I told him. Blue eyes, bigger eyes, smaller nose, bigger lips, full cheeks, wider set eyes, smaller jaw, etc. A lot more things I doubt anyone would understand unless you've taken anatomy. He showed me photos of women of whom I described and he told me to pick who I thought was most beautiful. And I did. He said he could do it for 2.5 million. Fuck yeah, I said.
Yeah.
I just had to sign non-disclosure agreements.
What?
That was scary. I get you're thinking, it's better to be ugly than dead, but my entire life I was treated like a piece of shit because of looks. My surgery was set for next month because he told me I had to stop smoking before the surgery. It was really hard to quit. But I did it. Because I was scared shitless that I might not wake up from the table. I was contacting lawyers, setting up wills for family and a bunch of rare diseases charities. And spending a lot of time with family. It broke my mom's heart when I told she will definitely not recognize me after. She did everything in her power to get me not to go. I went it and I was prepped for surgery. There wasn't a lot of communication between the workers, but before I was anesthetized I heard, "Go prepare Carolyn." Didn't think much of it, thought it might be some other girl getting surgery there. It took 15 hours. When I woke up the pain was so intense I regretted it. My entire face was wrapped up in white cloth. He said I will be able to take it off in 2 weeks. For those 2 weeks I stayed at the hospital. My bodyguards kept me company, they had to sign bond forms too, still don't know why, read a couple books, played games. The day came when the nurses removed my bandages. I started crying. It was the most beautiful thing ever. I was beautiful. Blue big eyes, small nose, smaller face, fuller lips. A literal new face. I left a week later. Life was great. I had so much attention from men and everyone in general. People were so much nicer to me and I would literally go home and cry for hours because people were being nice to because I'm pretty, not because I'm a human being, and that makes me depressed on so many levels. I had my first date and my first kiss, yes I know. In my 20s I had my first kiss.
What?
After being so happy and being treated so well by everyone, I alienated myself from the world. I thought I had to go through all of that shit to be treated like a person. My day consisted of eating Rocky Road ice cream and watching TV. I did gain 5 pounds, but nothing some time at the gym won't fix. I thought it was best to really register everything I had gone through, then go back to life. Till then, Netflix and TV were my best friends. I was watching the news when it was talking about a girl's body that was found. I was walking around the room attempting to clean the mini buckets of ice cream, and I wasn't really paying attention until I heard the words "body found with frontal part of skull missing," and I thought that's weird and interesting. I turned up the volume and they showed a picture of her. With her name at the bottom. Carolyn Reed. And it was my face. Comments. This is honestly a pretty shitty story, it doesn't even sound realistic, it sounds like a scary story you used to tell a friend at a sleepover 5/10.
Hey, don't be negative. What an asshole. Wow. Honestly, this sounds like a shitty story. Well, yeah, that wasn't very scary. That sounds more like an episode of The Twilight Zone or something. Some plastic surgery gone wrong. Wasn't very creeped out. Damn, I feel like I have too many bathrooms. How many bathrooms do I got? All these people bitch about, I need to go to the bathroom, I need to go to the bathroom. 10? Yeah, that's probably not too many. Well, shit, that was also provided to us by the Creepypasta wiki, not the Creepypasta training wiki. You'd think the opposite, but I don't know, compared to some of the things that I see on the training wiki, it makes me wonder why some pastas are on the training wiki and not on the real Creepypasta wiki. I know they have some new, well, probably not new, but it was put in, but after the creation of the wiki, some hard rule on no video game pastas anymore. And that's probably for the better, but just because it's not about video games doesn't make it better necessarily, and some of these pastas are case in point. To be fair, I don't know what a good creepypasta would be about, what its subject matter would be. So let's queue up, yeah, I guess the last one I had, shit. Boom, 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 boom. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, fuck. And let's give it,
I don't really expect anyone to believe anything.
No, that sounds horrible.
I don't really expect any.
Oh my god.
I don't really expect.
Oh my fucking god.
I don't really expect.
Alright, that'll do. Be right back and then we'll start the last pasta. Alrighty. Let's get on with Cold as Ice.
I don't really expect anyone to believe anything I am about to share right now, and in honesty I couldn't blame them for thinking I was completely insane or trying to get attention with wild tales of fancy. Yet I'll go ahead and share regardless. Perhaps I'll make a fool of myself, but that's nothing compared to what I honestly feel could happen if I didn't at least try. You see, as hard as it may be to believe, I truly feel if I don't share this information people could get hurt, and I couldn't live with myself knowing I had just kept silent. Now, in order for me to warn you, I'm afraid you'll need to listen to my story. I'll try and be as brief as possible,
I'm
but
afraid
I
you'll
can't
have to listen to
afford
my
miss out
story,
the
bruh.
details either.
Just
It
shit on
began
yourself.
last year at summer camp. I was having a bit of a hard time with the other kids and the camp staff really couldn't be bothered to intervene, so I decided to take matters into my own, admittedly reckless, hands. I slipped away from the main camp and into the nearby woods, if only to get away from the constant bickering and taunts. Now before you ask, no, it wasn't the middle of the night. It was a warm afternoon and the sun shone down brightly. I made my way further into the woods until I found a clearing and sat down to brood over the injustices of being left in a camp one never even wanted to attend in the first place. All around me stood tall trees covered in leaves, the sounds of birds filled the air, and every now and then a summer breeze would pass over the area. Glancing around, I noticed a pond in the clearing and thought nothing more of it as I went right back to sulking. It didn't take long, however, for me to feel goosebumps on my arms and legs, a shiver running down my spine as a sudden rush filled me, the feeling of fear. Yet as I suddenly looked up and around for the source, there was nothing to be seen. I must have stayed in that clearing for a few more minutes before I finally went back to the camp, a little shaken as the whole time I sat in the clearing I kept getting a horrible feeling of dread with no logical reason behind it. That night I had a terrible nightmare. I was submerged in freezing water and gasping for breath as something dragged me down into the depths, kicking and squirming as I felt my lungs literally explode in my chest as murky water clouded my vision and unbearable cold surrounded my every being. I woke up to find myself dripping in a cold sweat and staring into pitch darkness. I was amazed that I hadn't screamed, yet my heart was racing and fear consumed me for the remainder of the night. The following day I endured the usual tasks of camp, and although the taunts and bickering weren't as bad as usual, I still didn't mingle very much with the other kids. Soon I found myself drifting back to the clearing I had visited the previous
before this
day.
is the Jason
This
Voorhees
time, however, I felt
lore,
myself drawn towards the
origin
pond,
lore.
staring at the water, which seemed to be strange, almost akin to ink despite the sun shining down from above. Despite every bit of sense dictating otherwise, I found myself kneeling down and extending my hand out, as if in a trance, dipping it into the water and feeling an instant rush of icy cold against my skin. Instantly I tried to pull my hand out, only to find myself nabbed by something in the pond, barely able to let out a cry of horror as my nightmare took on a horrific reality, as my vision was clouded by murky water and the freezing cold assaulted my body, flailing madly as I tried to break free. Luckily for me, the camp staff that day must not have been completely incompetent, because before I could succumb to the shock of the cold, I found myself pulled out of the pond by a large man, who quickly began to attend to me as he called on others for help. I never dared to speak about being dragged in. As far as the camp was concerned, I had strayed from the group and slipped into the pond. My parents were informed, and both they and staff labeled me irresponsible and lucky to be alive. You'd think that would have been the end of it, but you would be wrong. Every night
You
I
would be
experienced
wrong,
the same
kid.
horrible nightmares of drowning in icy waters, of being dragged into the dark abyss, and every time I awaken I am in a cold sweat. Most disturbing, for me anyway, is that every time I find myself near a pool of water, be it a swimming pool, a pond, or even a bath, I keep getting a sense of terror so bad I shake and try as I may to brave it. The moment I touch the water, a wave of icy cold fills my body and I instantly flee, expecting something to grab me. My parents think this is some sort of traumatic stress and have begun to arrange for me to see a therapist, but I still wanted to share this with you because I wanted to warn you. I wanted to make sure that people know when they are advised to stay in groups, not to wander off. You really should listen. You never know what could be waiting for you. Comments. Wow, this is actually really good. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Never going to use water again. I think that this could have been a really good pasta if the ending had been a bit different. For the most part, this story reminded me of a Goosebumps book I read in the 5th grade.
Goosebumps.
This pasta was pretty creepy. 7.5/10. pretty creepy. I like the creepy factor.
Pretty creepy,
Cool
my
pasta,
dude.
really awesome. Good pasta. Drowning in the abyss, hell of a way to go. Great pasta. Holy crap, I'm actually hearing noises in my house. T_T, I'm serious, like banging sounds on the walls.
Uh-huh. Well, shit. Place your votes now. Was that from Creepy or Crappy Pasta Wiki? Good lord. I like the little bit of... kind of felt patronizing at the end. So listen to when people tell you to stick to groups. That was very necessary at the end. I'm glad we learned something from that pasta. And it wasn't just like, this dude's afraid of puddles now and gets scared and shits himself? Bruh, come on. How does the dude even take a bath then, if he's that afraid of water? Does he have to be in a group when he takes a shower? So that he has the comfort of the group to... to do away with his fears? Fucking shit. Damn, this... Wow, this crazy castle's gone to shit, TBH. Like, I don't remember all of the super high-level, high IQ plays, but... Damn, I don't remember being this poor. Shit, alright. Yeah, so that pasta again was from the real Creepypasta wiki. All 6 of them tonight were from the Creepypasta wiki, my lord. So, you can read just gems of creepypastas if you go to the Creepypasta wiki. A treasure trove awaits you. Maybe, let's see. Let me see if I can pull up another one real quick. Still got a little time left. Alright, we got I Lost Her. And I guess I'll give the author, since I already spoiled it's from the Creepypasta wiki. It is by Delfino Island. What? Isn't that the island from Super Mario Sunshine? Part of me thinks this dude might have written a Mario creepypasta at some point. Or maybe this is a creepypasta about Mario. I don't know. Let's
It
begin.
had been a quiet night at Vista County Sheriff's Department. The secretary typing memo after memo, and the clang of the holding cells downstairs echoed through the dark halls. Sergeant Martinez had been admiring the stars out his office window when he saw a young man in his mid-30s run into the building. He was intrigued, of course. Not that many people required the help of the police in a quaint town like this. He didn't recognize this person from his daily patrols and hadn't seen him around town. After a stroll downstairs to check it out, he saw 2 officers trying to calm him down. After a stroll downstairs to check it out, he saw 2 officers trying to calm him down. I can't find her, I lost her," said the scared man between huge breaths of air. "Relax, sir. Just explain what happened and we'll take care of it." This only scared the man further. After 4 more loud moments of exhaling, he passed out and fell to the ground. The man woke up in the holding cell downstairs with a wet towel on his head an hour later. He looked as if death passed over. After some heavy breaths, he began to collect himself. I had been doing the Sudoku and waiting for him to come to so I could question him about her. He said that he had decided to take his 4-year-old daughter to a nearby playground. His eyes were glued to her ever since the day he said he lost her in a department store. When we got there, she ran towards the slide and began to play around with the wood chips. It was cloudy when we got there, and I felt a bad presence. I ain't no voodoo worshipper, but I could sense some weird feeling in my stomach. I turned around to light a smoke. I didn't want her seeing it. I've been trying to quit for a year now, but no dice. When I turned around, she was gone. I combed that playground to high heavens. "Okay, sir, I'll put out a missing persons report. Don't worry, we've got a 90% success rate in these kinds of things." Yamble Daily Picture 22310. A Yamble school closed down. The next day, I decided to go look around that playground. The school adjacent to it had long been shut down and the children of the area had been relocated to Burroughs School District. When I got there, some hooded guys were sitting in a circle and saying some weird thing in Latin or something.
Or something.
This town had been a center of strange religious sects because of our secluded location. Some cults find it better to be away from society. They never do much harm, just some performances downtown. I shooed him away and got my flashlight out. One of them threw me a pamphlet. I thanked him and stuck it in my pocket. After looking around the place, I deemed it a lost cause to look here and went back to my cruiser. That night, I put the pamphlet on my nightstand and went to bed. After a night's sleep, I decided, for whatever reason, I should read that pamphlet. It had an eerie mystique to it, probably just my imagination, but I read it, and when I did, I knew I shouldn't have. It read at the top, Vista County Church of Harris. I had investigated the Church of Harris in a case a while back involving some animal sacrifice ritual. It never had any conclusive evidence to convict the cult leader, Jonathan Harris. There had been rumors and stories about him capturing people for sacrifices under the guidance of Harris. The cult always had some satanic connection, saying the only difference between God and Satan is a name. I was raised Catholic, so I didn't get this cult stuff. After reading more, I began to think more and more that maybe this little girl wasn't just lost or kidnapped. After some careful self-protesting, I went back to the playground to find the same people there. One of them was chanting some strange words out of some big book, and a pungent smell held around the slide. I asked them a few questions about what they were doing and if they had seen a little girl. They remained silent and didn't say the smallest thing. I pushed them away as I tried to find the source of the smell, eventually seeing a small brown thing buried in wood chips. I looked around, only one cult member remained. He was mumbling some indistinct words to himself when I asked him about the playground. "What are you guys doing here?" I questioned. "I am summoning the evil of the world to avenge our soul." I never understood the kind of cult speak in this town, what with demons and spirits and stuff, but I knew that wasn't good. Just then, a huge wave of what I would call energy, not good, but dark energy. For lack of a better word, I'll call it dark. It pulsed throughout the vicinity of the playground, bringing me to my knees. The cultists started to yell, "He is coming!" And, yes, I could hear the cries of a little girl in the huge cloud of smoke that had risen above the slide 10 yards away from me. I looked up and could see some horrible creature holding a girl in its arms. I grabbed my pistol and aimed down the sights, knowing that I couldn't shoot with that little girl. The cult member yelled it would be no use, bullets cannot harm a demon. As a last resort, I ran over to the slide, blinded with fear. I climbed up the ladder, seeing the dark cloud that had risen over the small dark playground. Before I had made this act of bravery, I remembered a small crucifix I held around my neck on a small chain. With one sweep, I plunged the demon in its putrid neck with the cross, sending me flying off the slide and into the wood chips. I don't remember anything after that. When I woke up on a bed of splinters, I looked around. The cult member was gone. The clouds were gone. No evidence of the demon remained. The only thing out of place at the playground was a small girl's coat.
Uh-huh. Cool. Well, I guess that wasn't terrible, but it wasn't terribly exciting either. But that was from the, Creepypasta wiki. Oh. Delfino Island, though. Nice, man. A tragic story, but the ending felt somewhat rushed. 7 out of 10. I love a good, dark cult story, and this certainly delivered. A child died. That just made me sad. Frowny face. I'm sorry, I can't give you, the author, a better reply, but the ending was just too hasty and sad. Damn, feels bad, man. Cult, murder of non-humans for suspicion, demon, heroic act, use of religious object, disappearance of all but protagonist. It takes a lot to turn these generic bare-bones part for every cult story into something good. Nice work. Well, why don't we squeeze in another one? Pull one up. I hear my notifications on Roller Coaster Tycoon going crazy, though. I hope nobody drowned. I hope Ben didn't drown. Oh my god, bro. That would be super fucking scary, bro. I should name an NPC Ben and then let him drown. Oh my god.
In the last decade and a half, it's become infinitely easier to obtain exactly what you're looking for by way of a couple of keystrokes. The internet has made it all too simple to use a computer to change reality. An abundance of information is merely a search engine away, to the point where it's hard to imagine life as any different. Yet a generation ago, when the words streaming and torrent were meaningless save for conversations about water, people met face to face to conduct software swap parties, trading games and applications on Sharpie labeled 5 1/4-inch floppies. Of course, most of the time the meets were a way for frugal, community-minded individuals to trade popular games like King's Quest and Maniac Mansion amongst themselves.
Shoutouts to King's Quest.
However, a few early programming talents designed their own computer games to share amongst the circle of acquaintances, who in turn would pass it on until, if fun and well-designed enough, an independently developed game had its place in the collection of aficionados across the country. Think of it as the 80s equivalent of a viral video. Pale Luna, on the other hand, was never circulated outside of the San Francisco Bay Area. All known copies have been long disposed of. All computers that have ever run the game now detritus buried under layers of filth and polystyrene. This fact is attributed to a number of rather abstruse design choices made by its programmer.
Number of what?
Pale Luna was a text adventure in the vein of Zork and the Lurking Horror at a time when said genre was swiftly going out of fashion. Upon booting the program, the player was presented with a screen almost completely blank except for the text. You are in a dark room. Moonlight shines through the window. There is gold in the corner, along with a shovel and a rope. There is a door to the east. Command. So began the game that one writer for a long out-of-print fanzine decried as enigmatic, nonsensical, and completely unplayable. As the only commands that the game would accept were pick up gold, pick up shovel, pick up rope, open door, and go east, the player was soon presented with the following. Reap your reward. Pale Luna smiles at you. You are in a forest. There are paths to the north, west, and east. Command. What quickly infuriated the few who've played the game was the confusing and buggy nature of the second screen onward. Only one of the directional decisions would be the correct one. For example, on this occasion, a command to go in a direction other than north
wait a minute. Yo. This is about a video game. I thought there were no pastas about video games. What the hell, bro? Let me see when this was written. 2011? By Retardo the Magnificent. Maybe that was before the video game ban. Alright.
For example, on this occasion, a command to go in a direction other than north would lead to the system freezing, requiring the operator to hard reboot the entire computer. Further, any subsequent screens seem to merely repeat the above text, with the difference being only the directions available. Worse still, the standard text adventure commands appeared to be useless. The only accepted non-movement related prompts were use gold, which caused the game to display the message. Not here. Use shovel, which brought up. Not now. And use rope, which prompted the text. You've already used this. Most who played the game progressed a couple of screens into it before becoming fed up by having to constantly reboot and tossing the disc in disgust, writing off the experience as a shoddily programmed farce. However, there is one thing about the world of computers that remains true. No matter the era, some people who use them have way too much time on their hands. A young man by the name of Michael Nevins decided to see if there was more to Pale Luna than what met the eye. 5 hours and 33 screens worth of trial and error and unplugged computer cords later, he finally managed to make the game display different text. The text in this new area read, Pale Luna smiles wide. There are no paths. Pale Luna smiles wide. The ground is soft. Pale Luna smiles wide. Here. Command. It was another hour still before Nevins stumbled upon the proper combination of phrases to make the game progress any further. Dig hole, drop gold, then fill hole. This caused the screen to display. Congratulations. 40.24248. Minus 121.4434. Upon which the game ceased to accept commands, requiring the user to reboot one last time.
40.2.
After some deliberation, Nevins came to the conclusion that the numbers referred to lines of latitude and longitude.
Oh shit,
to
bro.
A point in the sprawling forest that dominated the nearby Lassen Volcanic Park. As he possessed much more free time than sense, Nevins vowed to see Pale Luna through to its ending. The next day, armed with a map, a compass, and a shovel, he navigated the park's trails, noting with amusement how each turn he made corresponded roughly to those that he took in-game. Though he initially regretted bringing the cumbersome digging tool on a mere hunch, the path's similarity all but confirmed his suspicions that their journey would end with him face-to-face with an eccentric's buried treasure. Out of breath after a tricky struggle to the coordinates, he was pleasantly surprised by a literal stumble upon a patch of uneven dirt. Shuffling as excitedly as he was, it would be an understatement to say that he was taken aback when his heavy strokes unearthed the badly decomposing head of a blonde-haired little girl. Nevins promptly reported the situation to the authorities. The girl was identified as Karen Paulson, 11, reported as missing to the San Diego Police Department a year and a half prior. Efforts were made to track down the programmer of Pale Luna, but the nearly anonymous legal gray area in which the software swapping community operated inescapably led to many dead ends.
Software swapping community.
Collectors have been known to offer upwards of 6 figures for an authentic copy of the game. The rest of Karen's body was never found.
Okay, well. Alright, I'll give it to him. That was a nice little twist. But it didn't seem that creepy either. Just the ending where, oh, it happens to be a little girl that's dead. Feels more like an episode of Twilight than, or not Twilight, Twilight Zone, than anything particularly creepy. But I think that was a lot better than the other ones we read tonight. IMO. But I did spoil that was from the Creepypasta wiki already, not the training Creepypasta. Which, Ben Drowned is on the Creepypasta wiki, it's not training pasta. Which I believe that was one of the video game Creepypastas that made it in before the rule was put in that video game pastas are banned from the official Creepypasta. Ben drowned. Oh my god, he drowned, bruh. Oh, check this shit out, bruh. Oh my god. You're gonna name a dude Ben? Oh fuck. Oh fuck. Oh shit, bruh. Oh fuck, Ben's drowning. Oh my god, bruh. Oh my god, Ben drowned, bruh. Oh my god. Damn, that is scary as fuck, bruh. I don't actually know what Ben Drowned is about. I know the stupid statue from Majora's Mask appears somewhere. You know what? Why not? Let's Oh, this is long as fuck. Holy shit. Oh, damn, this is fucking long. Holy fuck. Jeez, and there's like chapters and shit to it. Ah, fuck it. I guess we'll listen to it, but I'm gonna take another quick break, grab something to drink, and then we'll get on with Ben Drowned, the classic, quintessential creepypasta. Or so I've been told. Alright, I'll be back in a moment. Fuck, I just remembered I should probably pause Roller Coaster Tycoon. Shit. Oh well, it's not a serious playthrough of it. So let me copy the pasta. Jesus Christ, oh my god. This is like the fucking Odyssey and Iliad of creepypastas, for fuck's sake. Holy shit. Alright, god damn. It's comparable to the Epic of Gilgamesh. That's how important this watershed pasta is. Which we will partake in, right? Oh wait. Gotta switch to the scary Link music, bruh. It's only appropriate. So, yeah, nice. Oh shit, bruh. Alright, try not to soil your trousers. This is Ben Drowned.
Post number 1, Sept. 7, 2010. Okay X, I need your help with this. This is not copypasta, this is a long read, but I feel like my safety or well-being could very well depend on this. This is video game related, specifically Majora's Mask, and this is the creepiest shit that has ever happened to me in my entire life. Having said that, I recently moved into my dorm room starting as a sophomore in college, and a friend of mine gave me his old Nintendo 64 to play. I was stoked, to say the least. I could finally play all of those old games of my youth that I hadn't touched in at least a decade.
Stoked.
His Nintendo 64 came with one yellow controller and a rather shoddy copy of Super Smash Bros., and while beggars can't be choosers, needless to say it didn't take long until I became bored of beating up 9 Latvian LAS CPUs. That weekend I decided to drive around a few neighborhoods about 20 minutes or so off campus, hitting up the local garage sales, hoping to score on some good deals from ignorant parents. I ended up picking up a copy of Pokemon Stadium
from ignorant parents, bro, that's fucked up.
F-Zero and 2 other controllers for $2. Satisfied, I began to drive out of the neighborhood when one last house caught my attention. I still have no idea why it did. There were no cars there and only one table was set up with random junk on it, but something sort of drew me there. I usually trust my gut on these things, so I got out of the car and I was greeted by an old man. His outward appearance was, for lack of a better word, displeasing. It was odd, if you ask me.
Well, I guess to be fair, I mean, I don't know for sure when this was written, but I feel like it was written during the early heyday of creepypastas, so perhaps the cliches weren't as obvious as they are now. They weren't as set in stone, so maybe cut it some slack. Old man at a garage sale, how many times have we heard that? But Ben Drowned, you know, this was written forever ago, essentially, so I'm willing to cut it some slack.
It was odd, if you ask me to tell.
Wait.
It was odd, if you asked me to tell you why I thought he was displeasing. I couldn't really pinpoint anything. There was just something about him that put me on edge. I can't explain it. All I can tell you is that if it wasn't in the middle of the afternoon and there were other people within shouting distance, I would not have even thought of approaching this man. He flashed a crooked smile at me and asked what I was looking for, and immediately I noticed that he must be blind in one of his eyes. His right eye had that glazed over look about it.
Okay.
I forced myself to look to his left eye instead, trying not to offend, and asked him if he had any old video games. I was already wondering how I could politely excuse myself from the situation when he would tell me he had no idea what a video game was, but to my surprise he said he had a few ones in an old box.
Yo, that's
He
ageist,
assured me
bro,
he'd be
thinking he
back
doesn't
in
know
a
what
jiffy
video
and
games
turned to
are.
head back into the garage.
Fucking bitch.
As I watched him hobble away, I couldn't help but notice what he was selling on his table. Littered across his table were rather peculiar paintings, various artworks that looked like ink blots that a psychiatrist might show you. Curious, I looked through them. It was obvious why no one was visiting this guy's garage sale. These weren't exactly aesthetically pleasing. As I came to the last one, for some reason it looked almost like Majora's Mask, the same heart-shaped body with little spikes protruding outward. Initially, I just thought that since I was secretly hoping to find that game at these garage sales, some Freudian bullshit was projecting itself into the ink blots, but given the events that happened afterward, I'm not so sure now. I should
Okay,
have
don't
asked
spoil
the
it,
man
bro.
about
Fine.
it. I wish I would have asked the man about it. After staring at the Majora-shaped plot, I looked up and the old man was suddenly there again, arm's length in front of me, smiling at me. I'll admit I jumped out of reflex and I laughed nervously as he handed me a Nintendo 64 cartridge.
Oh shit.
It was the standard grey color, except that someone had
Aw,
written
lame.
Majora on it in black permanent marker.
Oh, black
I
permanent
got
marker.
butterflies in my stomach as I realized what a coincidence this was and asked him how much he wanted for it. The old man smiled at me and told me that I
No,
could
tree
have
fitty.
it for free, that it
Oh.
used to belong to a kid who was about my age that didn't live here anymore.
Mayage.
There was something weird about how the man phrased that, but I didn't really pay any attention to that. I was too caught up in not only finding this game but getting it for free. I reminded myself to be a bit skeptical since this looked like a pretty shady cartridge and there's no guarantee
Shady
it would work.
cartridge.
But then the optimist inside me interjected that maybe it was some kind of beta version or pirated version of the game and that was all I needed to be back on Cloud 9. I thanked the man and the man smiled at me and wished me well, saying goodbye then. At least that's what it sounded like to me. All the way in the car ride home, I had a nagging doubt that the man had said something else. My fears were confirmed when I booted up the game. To my surprise, it worked just fine, and there was one save file named simply Ben.
Oh fuck,
Goodbye,
bro.
Ben,
Oh
he
shit,
was
Scoops, I'm
saying.
getting
Goodbye,
scared,
Ben.
man. Like zoinks.
I felt bad for the man, obviously a grandparent and obviously going senile, and I, for some reason or another, reminded him of his grandson, Ben. Out of curiosity, I looked at the save file. Eyeballing it, I could tell that he was pretty far in the game. He had almost all of the masks and 3/4 remains of the bosses. I noticed that he had used an owl statue to save his game. He was on day 3 and by the Stone Tower Temple with hardly an hour left before the moon would crash. I remember thinking that it was a shame that he had come so close to beating the game, but he never finished it. I made a new file named Link out of tradition and started the game,
fucking
ready to
normie.
relive my childhood. For such a shady-looking game cartridge, I was impressed at how smoothly it ran, literally just like a retail copy of the game save for a few minor hiccups here and there, like textures being where they shouldn't be, random flashes of cutscenes at odd intervals, but nothing too bad. However, the only thing that was a little unnerving was that at times the NPCs would call me Link and at other times they would call me Ben.
Oh shit.
I figured it was just a bug, a fluke in the programming causing our files to get mixed up or something. It did kind of creep me out though after a while, and it was around after I had beaten the Woodfall Temple that I regrettably went into the save files and deleted them. I had intended to preserve the file just out of respect of the game's original owner. It's not like I needed 2 files anyway.
It's fucked
Hoping
up,
that
bro.
that would solve the problem. It didn't. Now NPCs wouldn't call me anything where my name should be in the dialogue. There was just a blank space. My save file name was still called Link though.
Link.
Frustrated and with homework.
Yeah, if you're not getting the gold cart, bro, you're like fucking up. Although, did Majora's Mask come in a gold cart? Or was that just Ocarina of Time? I don't know, because I never owned either one. I never owned an N64 either.
ATED, and with homework
So I'm
to
fucking
do,
lame
I put
like
the
that,
game
bro.
down for a day. I started playing the game again last night, getting the lens of truth and working my way towards completing the Snowhead Temple. Now, some of you more hardcore Majora's Mask players know about the 4th day glitch. For those who don't, you can Google it, but the gist of it is that right as the clock is about to hit 0 hours, 0 minutes and 0 seconds on the final day, you talk to the astronomer and look through the telescope. If you time it right, the countdown disappears and you essentially have another day to finish whatever you were doing. Deciding to do the glitch to try and finish the Snowhead Temple, I happened to get it right on the first try and the time counter at the bottom disappeared. However, when I pressed B to exit the telescope, instead of being greeted by the astronomer, I found myself in the
Yeah, that's what I figured, Mr. Ruse, since, well, I did have both NES games, both Links on NES, and they were both gold cartridges, so that'd be kind of odd for them to do one but not the other. It's kind of fucked up.
However, when I...
But then, A Link to the Past, that wasn't a gold card. Damn, make up your mind, Nintendo.
However, when I pressed B to exit the telescope, instead of being greeted by the astronomer, I found myself in the Majora boss fight room. At the end of the game, the trippy boxed in arena, staring at Skull Kid hovering
It'd be cool
above
if, like,
me.
Breath of the Wild came in a
when I
gold
pressed
case.
B to exit the telescope,
the
instead
little
of being
memory card
greeted
was
by the
gold.
astronomer, I found myself in the Majora boss fight room. At the end of the game, the trippy boxed in arena, staring at Skull Kid hovering above me. However, when I pressed B to exit the telescope, instead of being greeted by the astronomer, I found myself in the Majora boss fight room. At the end of the game, the trippy boxed in arena, staring at Skull Kid hovering above me. However, when I pressed B to exit the telescope, instead of being greeted by the astronomer, I found myself in the Majora boss fight room.
Oh,
At the end
shit.
of the game, the trippy boxed in arena, staring at Skull Kid hovering above me. However, when I pressed B to exit the telescope, instead of being greeted by the astronomer, I found myself in the Majora boss fight room. At the end of the game, the trippy boxed in arena, staring at Skull Kid hovering above me. However, when I pressed B to exit the telescope, instead of being greeted by the astronomer, I found
fuck, it's
myself
fucking
in
up
the
again.
Majora
Fuck.
boss fight
Damn it.
room. At the end of the game, the trippy
Yeah. Well, the Majora's one looks like it has one of those, like hologram things. You change your viewing, and it changes the image, so it was the fancier one. Huh. Piece of shit text-to-speech.
There was no sound.
You're fired.
Just him floating in the
You're
air
fired
above
next
me,
stream.
and the background music, which was regular for the area, but still creepy. Immediately my palms began to sweat. This was definitely not normal. Skull Kid never appeared here. I tried moving around the area, and no matter
damn.
where I went, Skull Kid would always be facing me, looking at me, not saying anything. Nothing would happen though, and this kept up for around 60 seconds. I thought the game had bugged or something, but I was beginning to doubt that very much. I was about to reach for the reset button when text appeared on my screen. You're not sure why, but you apparently had a reservation. I instantly recognized that text. You get that message when you get the room key from Anju at the stock pot inn, but why was it playing here? I refused to entertain the notion that it was almost as if the game was trying to communicate
Refused
with me.
to entertain the
I
notion.
started
Oh
navigating
my
the room
god.
again, testing to see if that was some sort of trigger that enabled me to interact with something here. Then I realized how stupid I was to even think that someone could reprogram the game. Like, this was absurd.
Well, couldn't Nintendo
Sure enough,
reprogram it?
15 seconds later another message appeared on the screen, and again like the first one it was already a pre-existing phrase: go to the lair of the temple's boss. Yes, no. I paused
What?
for a second, contemplating what I should press and how the game would react, when I realized that I couldn't select no. Taking a deep breath, I pressed yes and the screen faded to white with the words "Dawn of a New Day" with the subtext beneath it, where I was ported to filled me with the most intense sense of dread and impending fear I had ever experienced. The only way I can describe the way I felt here is having this feeling of inexplicable depression on a profound scale. I am normally not a depressed person, but the way I felt here was a feeling that I didn't even knew existed. It was such a twisted, powerful presence that seemed to wash over me. I appeared in some kind of weird Twilight Zone version of Clock Town. I walked out of the clock tower as you normally do when you start from day one, only to find that all of the inhabitants were gone. Usually with the 4th day glitch you can still find the guards and the dog that runs around outside the tower. This time they were all gone. What replaced them was the ominous feeling that there was something out there, in the same area as me, and that it was watching me. I had 4 hearts to my name and the hero's bow, but at this point I wasn't even considered for my avatar. I felt that I personally was in some kind of danger. Perhaps the most chilling thing was the music. It was the Song of Healing, ripped straight from the game itself, but played in reverse. The music would get louder, building up as if you should expect something to pop out at you, but nothing ever did.
Damn,
and the
I need that
constant
fucking
loop began to
ATM,
wear
Jesus.
on my mental state.
Fucking dying over here.
Every now and then I would hear the faint laugh of the happy mask salesman in the background, just quiet enough so that I wasn't sure if I just hearing things, but just loud enough to keep me determined to find him.
You know what? I want to take a field trip, because I don't actually know what the happy mask dude sounds like, so I want to hear that. I did play a little bit of Majora's Mask on 3DS, that remake, but I don't think I even got to the mask salesman. Majora's Mask. See, like, this pasta would only be effective on you if you even know, like, if you know what all this shit is. And that's the problem with video game pastas in particular. It's mentioning such specific details, like the happy Majora's Mask laugh, and even the design of Majora's Mask. You need to know what that is, and the 4th day glitch and all this other shit. But I feel like when you know a game that well and you know all these details, the horror of the pasta is kind of lost on you, because you know this bullshit would never happen. Like, for me, it's that way with Pokemon creepypastas, and knowing what Pokemon's all about, and then knowing the technical limitations of a Game Boy. But somehow a Game Boy is able to play wave files and play distorted speech, and it's able to produce hyper-realistic blood on a Game Boy. Yes, believable. Alright, so let's let me stop this music. Let's hear this shit. Alright, a spooky warning, I guess. Yes, play. Oh. Is that it? Let me try a different one. Oh, that is? Okay. I guess that's a little creepy. It would seem pretty out of place for a Legend of Zelda game, so... Alright, yeah, it's okay creepy, I guess. Alright, so let's resume. Yeah, okay.
Every now and then I would hear the faint laugh of the happy mask salesman in the background. Just
I should have that as a sound clip to play.
If I just hearing things, but just loud enough to keep me determined to find him.
Next time.
I looked in all 4 zones of Clock Town, only to find nothing. No one. Textures were missing. West Clock Town had me walking on air. The entire area felt broken. Hopelessly broken. As the reverse song of healing repeated for what must have been the 50th time, I just remember standing in the middle of South Clock Town realizing that I had never felt so alone in a video game before. As I walked through the ghost town, I don't know whether it was the combination of the out-of-place textures and the atmosphere and the haunting melody of the once peaceful and soothing song being butchered and distorted, but I was literally on the verge of tears and I had no idea why. I hardly ever cry. Something had gripped me here, and this powerful sense of depression that was both foreign and crippling.
It's the overwhelming guilt you're feeling from cheating, bruh. Using that fourth day glitch.
The screen would fade to black and I would just zone into another part
Cheaters
of
never
Clock
prosper,
Town.
bruh.
I tried playing my ocarina. I wanted to escape and I did not want to be here, but every time I played the Song of Time or Song of Soaring it would only say, "Your notes echo far," but nothing happens. By this point, it was obvious the game didn't want me to leave, but I had no idea why it was keeping me here. I didn't want to go inside the buildings. I felt that I would be too vulnerable there to whatever I was terrified of. I don't know why, but I came up with the idea that maybe if I drowned myself at the laundry pool, I could spawn somewhere else and leave this place. As I zoned in and ran towards the pool, that's when it happened. Link grabbed his head, and the screen flashed for a brief moment of the happy mask salesman smiling at me, not Link, me with Skull Kid's scream playing in the background, and when the screen returned I was staring at the Link statue from playing
Skull
the
Kid has a
Song
scream
Melody
now?
Event.
Oh, fuck.
I screamed as the thing just
Alright,
stared
hold
back at me
on,
with
hold
that
up.
haunting facial.
Skull Kid scream. Huh. Well, that was a little more annoying, but, yeah, screams. Oh, fuck. It's nice to give the story some context, just so other Majora's Mask noobs aren't left out.
I screamed as the thing just stared back at me with that haunting facial expression. I turned around and ran out and back into South Clock Town, and to my horror the fucking statue followed me, and the only way I can compare this is like the weeping angels from Doctor Who. Every so often, at random intervals, the animation would play of the statue appearing behind me.
Alright, now you need to know Doctor
Who
Who as well.
Was chasing me, or I don't even want to fucking say it, haunting me. By this point, I was on the verge of hysterics, but not even once did the thought of turning off the console occur to me. I don't know why, I was so wrapped up in it, the terror felt all so real. I tried to shake the statue, but it would literally appear right behind me every single time. Link started to begin to make weird animations I had never even seen him do before. He would flail his arms around or spasm randomly and the screen would cut to the happy mask salesman smiling again for a brief moment before I was face to face with that fucking statue again.
Whoa.
I ended up running into the Sword Master's dojo and ran to the back. I don't know why, but in my panic I just wanted some kind of assurance that I'm not alone here. To my dismay I found no one, but as I turned to leave the statue cornered me in the cubby in the back. I tried attacking the statue with my sword but to no avail. Confused and backed into a corner, I just stared at the statue waiting for it to kill me. Suddenly, the screen flashed again to the happy mask salesman and Link turned to face my screen, standing upright mirroring the statue, looking at me along with his copy. Literally staring at me. Whatever was left of the fourth wall was completely shattered while I ran out of the dojo terrified. Suddenly the game warped me to an underground tunnel and the reverse song of healing queued up again as I was given a brief moment of rest before the statue started appearing behind me again. This time aggressively, I could only take a few steps before it would summon behind me again. I hurriedly made my way out of the tunnel and appeared in southern Clock Town. As I ran aimlessly in a sheer panic, suddenly a redhead screamed and the screen faded to black as dawn of a new
Oh
day
fuck yeah,
appeared
best
again.
toilet facilities in the country,
The screen
son.
faded
Yeah.
in and I was standing on top of Clock Tower with Skull Kid hovering over me again, silent. I looked up and the moon was back, looming just meters above my head, but the Skull Kid just stared at me hauntingly with that fucking mask. A new song was playing. The Stone Tower Temple theme played in reverse. In some sort of desperate attempt, I equipped my bow and fired off a shot at the Skull Kid, and it actually hit him and he played an animation of him reeling back. I fired again and on the third arrow, a text box appeared saying, "That won't do you any good." And I was picked up off the ground, levitated upwards on my back, and then Link screamed as he burst into flames, instantly killing him. I jumped when this happened. I had never seen this move used by anyone in the game, and Skull Kid himself didn't
Oh
have
shit,
any
he's
moves.
cheating, bro. Cheating.
As
Cheater.
the death screen played, my lifeless body still burning, the Skull Kid laughed and the screen faded to black, only to have me reappear in the same place. I decided to charge him, but the same thing happened. Link's body was lifted off the ground by some unknown force and he immediately burst into flames again, killing him. This time during the death screen, the faint sounds of the reverse song of healing could be heard. On my third and final try, I noticed that there was no music playing this time, that all there was eerie silence. I remembered that in the original encounter with the Skull Kid you were supposed to use the ocarina to either travel back in time or summon the giants. I attempted to play the Song of Time, but before I could hit the last note, Link's body once again horrifically exploded into flames and he died. As the death screen neared its end, it began to chug as if the cartridge was trying to process a lot of something.
Oh damn.
When the screen came to, it was the
Last
same scene
processing.
as the first 3 times, except this time Link was lying on the ground dead in a position I had never seen in the game before, his head tilted towards the camera, with the Skull Kid floating above him. I couldn't move, I couldn't press any buttons, all I could do is just stare at Link's dead body. After around 30 seconds of this, the game simply fades out with the message, "You've met with a terrible fate, haven't you?" before kicking you out of the title screen. Upon getting back to the title screen and starting again, I noticed my save file was no longer there. Instead of Link, it was replaced with Your Turn. Your Turn had 3 hearts, 0 masks, and no items. I selected Your Turn, and immediately when I did, I was returned to the Clock Tower rooftop scene of my Link dead and the Skull Kid hovering over it, with the Skull Kids laughing looping again and again. I selected Your Turn, and immediately when I did, I was returned to the Clock Tower rooftop scene of my Link dead and the Skull Kid hovering over it, with the Skull Kids laughing looping again and again. I quickly hit the reset button, and when the game booted up again, there was one more save file added below Your Turn, entitled Ben. Ben's save file is right back where it was before I deleted it, at the Stone Tower Temple with the moon almost crashing. I turned the game off at that point. I'm not superstitious, but this is way too fucked up even for me. I haven't played it at all today, hell, I didn't even get any sleep last night. I kept hearing the reverse song of healing music in my head and just remembering the sense of dread I felt exploring Clock Town. I drove back to the old man's house today to ask him some questions with a buddy of mine. No way I was going there alone, only to find that there's a for sale sign in the front yard, and when I rang the door no one was home. I drove back to the old man's house today to ask him some questions with a buddy
like
of
he
mine.
would fucking
No way
know.
I was going
You said it
there
yourself.
alone,
He's an old
only
man
to
who doesn't
find that
know
there's a
anything.
for sale sign in the front yard, and when I rang
Oh
the
yeah,
door
that's
no
the
one was
Ben
home.
Drowned cartridge.
I drove back to
Oh,
the
I
old
remember
man's
that
house today
shit.
to
Oh
ask
yeah.
him some questions
Yeah,
with a
right,
buddy
sure.
of mine. No way I was going there alone, only to find that there's a for sale sign in the front yard, and when I rang the door no one was home.
Maybe it has to do with
I drove
long
back
ass
to the old
sentences.
Oh, now I'm back here writing down the rest of my thoughts and recording what happened. Sorry if some of this has grammatical errors and whatnot. I'm running on no sleep here. I'm terrified of this game, even more so now that I relived it a second time writing this all down, but I feel like there's still more to it than meets the eye, and that there's something calling to me to investigate this further. I think Ben is something in this equation, but I don't know what, and if I could get a hold of the old man, then I would be able to find some answers. I need another day or so to recuperate before tackling this game again. It's already taken a toll on my sanity, I feel like, but next time I do this I'm going to be recording my footage all the way through.
You're gonna stream that shit, bro?
The idea to record only came to me towards the end, so you see the last few minutes of what I saw, including Skull Kid and the Elegy statue, but it's on YouTube here.
No, don't put it on YouTube, bro. It's cursed. We're all gonna be cursed.
I'm going to stay in this thread for a little while longer before I fall asleep or answer any questions you guys might have, or hopefully listen to your ideas or theories to help me shed some light into this, or maybe things I should try to do. I think I'm going to play Ben file tomorrow to see what happens. Maybe I was supposed to do that all along. I don't believe in paranormal shit, but this is a little fucked up. But maybe this Ben guy is just a really good hacker programmer. I don't want to think about the alternatives if he isn't. That's the end of the copy-paste. I'm hoping that maybe this is some kind of running gag the developers had, and that other people have gotten gagged or hacked copies of the game like this. This just really scares me. Post number 2, Sept. 8, 2010. I'm going to post what happened and link the video footage, but last night everything got too real for me. I think I'm done messing around with this. I passed out pretty much immediately after making that thread. But last night, that Elegy of Emptiness statue, I had a dream about it. I dreamed that it was following me in my dream, that I would be minding my own business when I'd feel my neck hairs stand up on end. I would turn around that thing. That horrible, lifeless statue would be staring with those empty eyes right at me, nearly inches away. In my dream, I remember calling it Ben, and never before had I had a dream that I could remember so vividly. But the important thing is I did get some sleep, I suppose. Today, putting off playing the game as long as I could, I drove back up to that neighborhood to see if the old man came back. As I expected, the car was still gone and no one was home. As I was walking back to my car, the man next door mowing the grass killed the power to his lawnmower and asked me if I was looking for someone. I told him that I was looking to talk to the old man that lived here, to which he told me what I already knew: he was moving. Trying a different avenue, I asked if the old man had any family or relatives I could talk to. I discovered that this old man had never been married, nor did he have any children or had children through adoption. Starting to become worried, I asked one final question, one that I should have asked from the beginning: who was Ben? The man's expression turned grim, and I learned that 4 doors down, around 8 years ago on April 23rd, the man informed me that it was the same day as his anniversary. That's how he knew the specific date. There was an accident with a young boy named Ben in the neighborhood.
Anniversary.
Shortly after his parents moved, and despite any further attempts to
no one
talk to the
remembers their
man to
anniversary.
get more information, he wouldn't
Fake
divulge
news, fake
anything
story.
else. I went back and started playing again. I loaded up the game and immediately I jumped at the title screen where the mask flies by. The sound that played was not the normal whoosh sound, it was something much more higher pitched. I pressed start, bracing for the worst, but just like 2 nights ago, the files, your turn and Ben, were displayed. Truth be told, I looked at the Ben file earlier. It seems to fluctuate between displaying the I'll save and not. I brought up the Ben file, hesitated for a moment, noticing that the stats were not the same as their original were 2 days ago. It seemed like he had already completed the Stone Tower Temple this time. I brought up the Ben file, hesitated for a moment, noticing that the stats were not the same as their original were 2 days ago. It seemed like he had already completed the Stone Tower Temple this time. Summoning my courage, I selected it. Immediately I was thrust into complete chaos. Sure enough, I was outside Stone Tower Temple, but that's about all that was expected. The zone itself wasn't called Stone Tower Temple, but rather Saint One, and immediately a dialogue box of complete gibberish that I couldn't make out greeted me. Link's body was distorted, his back was cocked violently to the side where his posture was permanently disfigured. Link's expression was dull, almost monotonous. He had an expression on his face that I didn't recognize before. It was a blank look, as if he was dead. As Link stood there, his body spasmed irregularly back and forth. I examined what had become of my avatar and noticed I had a C button item I had never seen before, some kind of note, but pressing it did nothing. Sounds played back and forth that I didn't recognize from the game, almost demonic in nature, and there was some
almost
kind of high-pitched
demonic, not
awesome
quite,
kind of
but
laugh
almost.
or something playing in the background.
I love almost.
I had all of 2
I
minutes
love almost
to take in the
and
environment
mortified.
before another one of those fucking Elegy of Emptiness statues was summoned, and immediately after I was cut into the Dawn of a New Day screen, except this time it was without the subtext. I was a Deku scrub in Clock Tower. This scene would normally play after the first time you traveled back in time. Tattle would say, "WH, what just happened?" It's as if everything has. But instead of saying it started over, she finished her remark in broken text as the laugh of the Happy Mask salesman played in the background. I was put back in control of my character, but from a fucked up camera angle. I was looking from behind the door to the
Isn't that
clock
every
tower,
N64
watching my
angle?
avatar
Fucked
run
up
around
camera
as a
angle?
Deku scrub. Seeing as how I really had no place to go because I couldn't see anything, I begrudgingly went inside the door. There I was greeted by the Happy Mask salesman, who simply told me, "You've met with a terrible fate, haven't you?" Before the screen whited out. I was in Termina Field as a human again. I might as well not have been playing the same game anymore. I was being walked around and there was no sign of a day clock or anything. I took a moment to get my bearings as I looked around the field, and immediately I could tell that this was not normal. There were no enemies, and a twisted version of the Happy Mask salesman's theme was playing. I decided to run towards Woodfall before I noticed a gathering of 3 figures off to the side, one of them being Epona. As I approached him, to my horror I saw the Happy Mask salesman, the Skull Kid, and the Elegy of Emptiness statue just standing there. I figured maybe they were bugged out, but by now I told myself that I should know better. Nevertheless, I approached them carefully and found that the Skull Kid was playing some kind of idle animation on loop. Same with Epona, and the Elegy of Emptiness statue was doing what it has been doing all along, just standing there eerily. It was the Happy Mask salesman that scared me more profoundly than the other 2. He too was idle, wearing that shit-eating grin, but wherever I moved, his head slowly turned and followed me. I had not engaged in any dialogue with him, nor was I in combat with him, yet his head still continued to follow my movements. Reminded of my first encounter with the Skull Kid on top of Clock Tower, I pulled out my ocarina, to which the game played the ding sound when you're supposed to play your ocarina, and tried a song I hadn't played yet, the Happy Mask salesman's own song, in the song that had been playing on loop back in day 4, the Song of Healing. I finished playing the song, and as I did, a ear-piercing shriek blasted on my TV. The sky immediately started flashing. The Happy Mask salesman's twisted theme song sped up, intensifying the fear inside me, and Link exploded into
Fuck your
flames
pretzel
and
stall,
died.
god damn it.
The 3 figures stayed lit up during my death screen as they watched my lifeless body burn. I can't describe to you how sudden and terrifying the transition from eerie to terror it is. You're going to have to watch the video if you want to see firsthand. I can't describe to you how sudden and terrifying the transition from eerie to terror it is. You're going to have to watch the video.
Just have to watch the video, guys. I'm just telling you. I can't describe it.
To you how sudden and terrifying the transition from eerie.
What a way to pimp your YouTube channel.
That caused me to lose sleep 2 days ago started to grip me again as I was met with the text, "You've met with a horrible fate, haven't you?" For the third time. There has to be some kind of meaning behind that. I had little time to ponder as I was immediately given another small cutscene of transforming into Azora, and now I found myself in Great Temple Bay. I had little time to ponder as I was immediately given another small cutscene of transforming into Azora, and now I found myself in Great Temple Bay. I had little time to ponder as I was immediately given another small cutscene of transforming into Azora, and now I found myself in Great Temple Bay. I had little time to ponder as I was immediately given another small... But curious to see what the game had in store for me, I slowly made my way towards the beach, where I found Epona. I wondered why the game had decided to put her here. Was the game implying she was trying to get her drink? Unable to take the mask off, I decided that riding the steed wasn't the reason she was placed there. Suddenly I realized that Epona kept neighing, and
yeah, man, it's way too spooky to read. Even robots can't read it. That's how fucking spooky it is.
It was a hunch, but I dove into Great Bay and started swimming.
Oh my god.
Sure enough, I almost missed it. I found something.
No, I think it's something with long ass sentences just trips it up.
I went down to examine it and
doesn't explain why, but
started doing a
I think I might know the reason at least.
I had never seen a Zora do before, which didn't even make sense because Zoras can breathe underwater.
They can breath underwater? Oh my god.
My character choked to death and died, and again the statue was the only thing that was highlighted in my death. I didn't respawn this time. I was booted back to the main menu as if I restarted the console. Ben. WMV. The press start screen was before me. I knew the only reason why it would put me here is because the save files had changed again. Taking a deep breath, I pressed start, and I was right. The new save files told me about Ben. Now it made sense why the statue appeared when I tried to go to the laundry pool. The game must have anticipated how I would have tried to escape the day 4 o'clock town. The two save files told me his fate. As I suspected, Ben was dead. He had drowned.
Oh,
the game obviously isn't
roll
through
credits.
With me. It taunts me with the new save files. It wants me to keep playing. It wants me to go further, but I'm done with this shit. I'm not touching
with this
any more
shit,
of the
I can't
files.
take this shit no more.
This is already way too horrifying for me, and I don't even believe in the paranormal, but I'm running out of explanations. Why would someone send me this message? I don't understand it. I just get too depressed thinking about this. The footage is up here for those who want to see it and try and analyze it. Maybe there's some kind of coded message in the gibberish or something symbolic in what I went through. I'm too emotionally and mentally drained to fuck with it anymore. Post number 3, Sept. 10, 2010. I know it's early in the morning. I've stayed up all night. I can't sleep. I don't care if people see this. That's not the point. I just want the word to get spread so I don't suffer for nothing. I've lost the will to type about this. The less I dwell on this, the better. I think the video just speaks for itself. I did what you guys told me to do. I played the Elegy of Emptiness song at the first prompt by the game I was given, but I think that's what the game or Ben, Jesus Christ, I can't believe I'm even humoring the absurd idea that he exists in the game, wanted me to do. He's following me now, not just in the game, he's in my dreams. I see him all the time, behind my back just watching me. I haven't gone to any of my classes. I've stayed in my dorm room with the windows closed and the blinds shut. That way I know he can't watch me. But he still gets me when I play. When I play he can still see me. The game is scaring me now. It talked to me for the first time,
Talk
not
to
just
me.
using text that's already in the game. It spoke to me. Talk to me. It referenced Ben. It talked to me. I don't know what it means. I don't know what it wants. I never wanted this, I just want my old life back.
I just wanted to play Majora's Mask and have a good time.
WMV. Stuff like this doesn't happen to people like me. I'm just a kid, not even old enough
Should have gone to
drink
eBay,
yet.
bro, to get your retro
It's not
games.
fair. I want to go home. I want to see my parents again. I'm so far away from home here at this school. I just want to hug my mom again.
Oh, what a fucking baby, bro.
I just
Wow.
want to forget that statue's horrible blank face. My original game file is back, just the way I left it before it was gone. I don't want to play anymore. I feel like something bad will happen if I don't, but that's impossible. It's a video game. Haunted or not, it can't hurt me, right? Like
Right,
seriously
right,
though,
oh my
it
God.
can't, right? That's what I keep telling myself, but every time I think about it I'm not so sure. Post number 4, Sept. 12/2010. Let me just clear things up. I know you guys are worried, but Jadusable is okay. He finished moving out today and he said he's going back home. He's just taking this semester off. I'm not really sure what's happened. I have a vague idea, but you guys probably know more than I do. I'm Jadusable's roommate and obviously I knew something was wrong with him for a few days now. He stayed in his room all the time, fell out of contact with literally all of his friends, and I'm pretty sure he hadn't been eating hardly anything. After the second day I couldn't stay in there anymore, so I've been crashing at a buddy's place, only coming into my room to get stuff that I need. I tried talking to him several times, but he would cut me off or keep the conversation brief when I asked him about his strange behavior. It like he was convinced something was hunting him. Yesterday I came to grab my philosophy book and he approached me, looking awful, like horrible bags under his eyes. He handed me a flash drive and gave me specific instructions. He told me that he needs me to do one last favor for him. He finally explained to me what has been going on, gave me the account info to his YouTube account, and told me that he's getting away from here. That it lured him to play it again instead of trying to change things, and that he shouldn't have done that, and to upload the footage and inform people what happened. I told him that he could do it himself, and he got this wild look in his eye and told me that he is never looking at that game again, and that's the last thing he said to me. He never even said bye when his parents came to pick him up. I never even got to meet his parents. I honestly can't tell you what happened. When he spoke it was kind of hard to understand.
Meet their parents,
His
dude.
fucked up appearance really distracted me. On the flash drive there was the footage of the game last night, a text document with his name and password for YouTube, and a third document called The Truth. Text containing what he told me were his notes that he'd taken. He
The
told me
notes.
that this meant everything to him, that I follow his instructions exactly. Normally I wouldn't be so to the letter a request over a fucking video game, but the way he spoke and the way he looked made me know this was really serious, and I'm going to honor that.
Super serious.
I've had this video since yesterday, but had to have someone help me use Pinnacle. That's not really my forte. That
Pinnacle?
after
What?
watching it I had to go back through and look at his other videos on his YouTube account to realize what was going on, and even then I'm really confused. The video I'm releasing tonight, The Truth. Text
The
will be
Truth.
released on September 15th just like he requested. I haven't dared peek at it yet, so the first time I see it will be the first time you see it, out of respect, my friend. To answer your questions, no, I haven't tried calling him yet. I think I'll give him a call tomorrow to see if he is okay or not. He should have gotten back home by now. Jadusable. Jadusable. WMV. About the video. In this video I cut straight to when he loaded the Ben file in the game. Looking back I realized that Jadusable left the save select screen in because it said different names sometimes, so my bad for that. But all it said this time was the same at the end of his last video. Lincoln Ben, nothing different. I wasn't there when he played it, but it looks to me like in the beginning when he first spawns he's testing out his equipment or seeing what items he has or something, because apparently they've changed randomly before. Then, after that, I just think the game got too personal for him. Post number 5, Sept. 15, 2010. Hey guys. Jadusable here. This will be the last time you'll be hearing from me, and this is my final gift to you. These are the notes that I have taken and the realizations I've made. Before I delve into this, I want to thank you for following me and thank you for listening. It feels like the weight of a powerful burden is about to be lifted. By the time you read this, I won't be around anymore, but after spending 4 days with this maddening game, I have begun to understand what's really at play here, and hopefully after reading this we can ensure that this never happens again. There are things that I could not share with you while this was going on due to the circumstances, to which I'll explain. With Ben blocking any attempt I made to try and relay the truth to you, I tried, ever so subtly, to warn you guys in various ways. Amidst the chaos and my delirium, I devised a barely noticeable pattern in my videos. In all 5 videos I recorded over the 4 days, I have either had the Mask of Truth interacted with a Gossip Stone or the Lens of Truth equipped at some point. For you Zelda enthusiasts, these are all symbols of honesty and trustworthiness, and I would hope that one of you may have picked up on the reference. As I played the file, which I would name Ben, being mindful of how Ben was watching over my every move in the game, I made a point to avoid doing anything too obvious, but I sent out a hidden message to you guys. I never equipped the lens nor the mask nor visited a stone. It worked, and the video was uploaded. I prayed that someone would notice the pattern didn't apply to Ben. The tags followed suit too. I hope you guys paid attention to those as well. They were my little messages to you, nothing big enough that would catch Ben's attention or make him suspect anything. With Ben manipulating and changing my files, I honestly hope that what you guys saw was close to what actually happened, but there is no way for me to know. This may be a long read. I don't have time to proofread or make all of my research pretty. But here it all is.
I guess props for someone making videos to accompany the creepypasta, which is a lot more effort than some creepypastas put in. So I'll have to check those out later and see how well they match up to this pasta.
September 6th, 2010. 11 p.m.
Oh fuck yeah,
Can't
cash
believe
machine,
what
god
happened.
damn.
Not sure if this is some kind of elaborate hoax. Despite the fear, I can't help but be exceptionally curious about this. Who or what is the statue? Who or what is the statue? Lot of questions here. I'm starting this document as a diary so I can keep track of everything. I'm typing up a summary of what happened so I can come back to it later. September 7th, 2010. 2:10 a.m. Summary was posted here. You can go back and look at my first post for day 4. WMV for that. 4:23 a.m. I can't sleep.
And that's what all those
so
ben.wmv and all that shit is, I
just
think.
get more
Just copied from the
restless.
page, my bad.
I just feel like that statue is appearing whenever I close my eyes. 8:20 a.m. Didn't sleep at all, just going to start my day. I don't think I have the energy to go to class today. I'm going to drive back down to talk to that old man, taking my buddy Tyler with me just in case.
Tyler, big ups to Tyler.
Back home now. No sign of the old man. Really weird that he appears to be moving the next day, but maybe the for sale sign was up there yesterday and I just didn't notice it. Tyler wants to know what's gotten me all worked up. I didn't tell him. Going to eat, feel like death. 3:46 p.m. Could have sworn driving back from Subway that I saw the elegy statue buried in some shrubbery staring at me go by. Now I definitely need sleep. 5 p.m. Don't think a lot of people would believe me if I told them about what's happening. Think I'm going to try posting this on the internet. Think I'll just use the summary. These notes are pretty sporadic. 6 p.m. Connected my capture card to my computer to upload the footage. Thought my computer froze for a second, made this strange popping sound when I hooked everything up, but now it seems to be working fine again. My computer can't die on me now. 7 p.m. Footage is finished uploading. The quality is a lot better than I thought it would be. Gee, guess this is a really special cartridge. I've never had it come through this clear before. 8:45 p.m. Thought I saw an icon pop up on my desktop that looked like the statue's face for a split second. Gave me quite a scare. Getting really unnerved and delirious. I'm going to crash after this. 9 p.m. Begin uploading my YouTube video on an alternate account. 9:03 p.m. I don't remember having uploaded a Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines video last year. This was probably the account that I shared with a friend of mine last summer. I hope he doesn't mind me using it to upload this. 9:55 p.m. Posting my summary of day 4 with a link to the YouTube video. Going to try to stay awake, but I am so tired right now. September 8th, 2010. 10:48 a.m. I had a dream about the statue. I dreamed that it was following me in my dream, that I would be minding my own business when I'd feel my neck hairs stand up on end.
I dreamed I was taking a shit and then it appeared and it was watching me. Oh fuck, bro.
That horrible,
oh my God.
lifeless statue would be staring with those empty eyes right at me, nearly inches away. In my dream, I remember calling it Ben, power of suggestion most likely, and never before had I had a dream that I could remember so vividly. 11:21 a.m. I really don't want to play this game again. I think I'm going to go back to see if that old man's there instead. 1:35 p.m. No old man, but I had an interesting conversation with his neighbor. I'll post the full thing with my summary of tonight's attempt at playing the game. Going to wait for a bit though and see if I can't dig up any information on this Ben guy.
This Ben guy.
2:45 p.m. I've been getting random, inexplicable headaches due to the lack of sleep and keep hearing that song in my head. Also, it's flu season, so I need to be careful not to get sick. My immune system is going to be shit right now because of that all-nighter. 3 p.m. 3:02 p.m. My computer, just on its own, opened up a text document and read the words hi and www. Cleverbot.com by itself. What the fuck?
What?
3:46 p.m. I went to
Link?
the website.
Okay.
It's one of those bot chatting programs. I think
Very
it's best if I
scary.
just let the conversation speak for itself. The 9th of August 10 conversation. User, hello. Cleverbot, hello. User, who is this and how are you able to control my computer?
What the fuck is
Cleverbot, who
this?
am I?
It's talking
User,
to Cleverbot
right,
now?
forgot. You're a bot.
Oh my God.
Cleverbot, do you really think that? User, listen, I know whoever's fucking with my computer can see my screen right now. Cleverbot, yes. User, yeah, and I'll wager that you are one of those IT kids who thinks he's tough shit. You know what you're doing right now is illegal, right? Cleverbot, is it? User, no shit. Are you familiar with HTE terms? Invasion of privacy. Get the fuck off my computer, kid. Cleverbot, I am your computer. User, cool story. Anyway, I'm calling DPS.
Cool
You picked a
story.
bad time to fuck with me, kid. Cleverbot, should I wait until you play the game then? User, what? Cleverbot, that game. User, Majora's Mask. Cleverbot, yes. User, how did you know about that? Cleverbot, because. User, because what?
Because I'm
Cleverbot,
Ben.
I did it. User, did what? Cleverbot,
Ben the
I played
hacker.
with you. User, what the fuck? Cleverbot, were you scared? User, who the fuck is this? Cleverbot, Ben. User, the statue. You're inside my computer now.
Fucking Cleverbot,
Cleverbot,
you know it's an
yes.
old ass pasta.
User, how? Cleverbot, you connected me. User, how the hell did I connect you? Cleverbot, cables and cords. User, how? Cleverbot, tell me about yourself. User, what? Cleverbot, tell me about yourself. User, what do you mean? Cleverbot, what is it that really scares you? User, what the fuck? Cleverbot, answer. User, no. Cleverbot, answer. User, what the fuck? How the fuck did you just open that by yourself? Cleverbot, I am your computer now. User, how much can you control? Cleverbot, all. User, what do you want from me? Cleverbot, to entertain. User, you're stuck inside there. You can't hurt me. Cleverbot, ha. User, Cleverbot, go play. User, no, you can't hurt me. Cleverbot, took you longer to type that. User, so. Cleverbot, you're not sure. User, if you're so powerful, why use a ridiculous website like this to chat with me? Cleverbot, less messy. More structured. Fun. User, fun. Cleverbot, yes. Tradition. I like it. User, you think it's funny. Cleverbot, amusing. User, and my notes. Cleverbot, you may write them down.
Oh my god.
User, why are you letting me? Cleverbot, it is amusing.
I'm glad
to
I'm
see
not
what
reading
you
this
think
one
of
on
me.
Sir Phobos' stream.
Window closes. 3:50
Cleverbot.
p.m. What
User.
have I done?
Cleverbot.
I've
User.
invited it into my
Cleverbot.
computer.
User.
I continue
Cleverbot.
to write these
User.
notes, write my summaries. I feel like I am a prisoner in my one place of security. I don't know if I'm hallucinating or not. I feel like I'm fucking insane right now. I can feel it watching over me even as I type this. Ben is controlling everything in the game, toying with me, leading me like a sheep, but for what? What's the purpose? I know Ben drowned, but why these hauntings? What the fuck am
'Cause
I
he's a
even
fucking
doing?
ghost.
It can
Why
probably
else?
even see this right now.
Why is this so hard to understand?
4:35 p.m. Summary of the Ben. WMV playthrough. 7:18 p.m. Ben called me to Cleverbot again. He tells me that he's sorry and wants to be free. And that I can free him, that just like how he got on my computer from the capture card, he can spread, but he needs my help. He says I am special because I can help him. That is the first nice thing he has said. He promises to leave me alone if I do it. He swears he will. I don't know what to think right now. How can I even trust this thing? 7:20 p.m. I'm terrified of it, but now it's saying that it was just having fun. It's twisted and fucked up version of fun. H is saying that the game is over. I do want it to be over. He says that he just wants to be free, that he's trapped in the cartridge on my computer and he wants to be free. I don't want to have to deal with this shit. I don't know how long I can deal with the watching. It's watching my every move, every keystroke. I have nothing private anymore. It knows everything that's been on my computer. It tells that if it wanted to, it could do
Fuck, you
horrible
better not
things
go on
to me, but it
Pornhub,
hasn't,
bruh.
so I should trust it. 8:01 p.m. Something tells me that I'm being played again, just like in the game. 9:29 p.m. Ben called me to Cleverbot again. I ignored it and went to go take a shower. When I came to my laptop, I was welcomed with an image elegy statue staring at me with those dead eyes. I don't want to talk to him. 9:44 p.m. Fuck you, Ben, I'm not talking to you.
Yeah, fuck you.
9:56 p.m.
home.
Fuck you, Ben, I'm not talking. 10:06
That's right,
p.m.
Mr. Ruse.
Fuck you, Ben, I am not talking to you. 10:12
What, you expected this to
p.m.
make
Fuck
sense,
you, Ben,
bro?
I am
What?
not talking
No,
to you.
no.
10:45 p.m. It's been more than a half an hour and the messages have stopped.
It needs a Bluetooth as well.
Stopped. I'm beginning to think that Ben isn't confined to just my computer cartridge. I'm beginning to feel something.
I like the very specific time codes. Even though you're losing your mind, you still make it a habit to check the clock before you put in your notes for the day.
I'm beginning to see the elegy statue randomly as I search the internet in places I shouldn't. Places where he shouldn't be. I'd be scrolling down and suddenly I'd be staring at a picture of the elegy statue. Always the elegy statue. I don't know how much more of this I can take. September 9th, 2010. 12:35 a.m. My worst fears confirmed. Ben has tampered with my summary of Ben.
Oh my god.
WMV. I looked at the summary that I posted on various forums for the Ben WMV file and parts have been omitted. There is no mention of Ben existing outside the game. There is no mention of the Moon Children. How could he have been that quick to delete the post without me noticing? I'm wondering if maybe it appeared to me that I was posting everything, but in reality Ben was posted his own censored version. I'm going to ask Ben why he did it. 12:50 a.m. He isn't responding to me on Cleverbot. It's just giving the generic responses it usually does. I'm just talking to a bot this time. 1:24 a.m. I think Ben is mad at me.
He's mad at me.
10:43
Oh
a.m.
no,
The Moon
I heard his
Children appeared in my
feelings.
dreams last night. They lifted up their masks to reveal their hideously disfigured faces, maggots crawling out of their orifices, sunken black holes where their eyes should be, a yellow smile that slowly grew bigger and bigger as they came closer to me. They told me that they wanted to play. I tried to run from them, but the four children pinned me down to the ground with surprising strength. Over them stood the Happy Mask salesman, announcing that he had a new mask that he wanted me to try.
Oh shit.
In his spastic, sudden movements matching his in-game appearance, he took out a mask modeled off of someone's face that I couldn't recognize, a younger-looking face, and handed it to the Moon Children. Giggling, they latched it to my face, their horrible, broken bodies bouncing up and down. Two of them held me down while the other two began to sew the mask onto my face. My shrieks and screams caused the Happy Mask salesman's face to turn into the most horrific smile I had ever seen. He sporadically moved around, examining this procedure like a curious doctor in that impossible movement. I flailed around, but it was no use. My eyes rolled in the back of my head because of the pain. It felt so real, but I couldn't wake up. I couldn't wake up. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't wake up. After the mask was melded onto my flesh, they began sewing my legs together, then my arms. The horrific feeling of a needle puncturing your legs and pulling them in, rupturing your Achilles tendons and tying them together resonated throughout my entire body. I tried to scream, but the mask was pressed so tightly against my face that it was my new face. And my new face had no mouth. I didn't make a sound. I tried telling myself in my head that I was dreaming, tried telling myself again and again, and suddenly the Moon Children stopped and looked at me. They just stared. And the Happy Mask salesman slowly bent down and stared at me inches away from my face and grinned when he simply said, "You've met with a terrible fate, haven't
Oh
you?"
my god, this dude.
Before the Moon Children resumed with increased vigor. I couldn't wake up. I couldn't wake up. It wouldn't let me wake up until they had crafted me into another elegy statue. I woke up sweating, crying, and shaking uncontrollably. I immediately ran to my computer and went for bed. The 9th of September 10 Conversation 1. User, answer me, Ben.
Oh god, this shit again.
Cleverbot, welcome back. User, what is the point of doing this? Why? Cleverbot, amusing to see. User, how? Cleverbot, fun to play, fun to toy with you, make you feel safe. User, Cleverbot, I wonder how you would have reacted. User, to what? Cleverbot, if I hadn't revealed myself and stayed hidden, only doing little things to play with you. Close out your windows, turn off your computer, move your mouse by itself. Little things. Make you wonder if I am there but you never know. Give you little hints that I am. Cleverbot, I wanted to do something different with you. User, you did this before. Cleverbot, yes. And I will do it again. User, to who, Ben?
Cleverbot.
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 User, did you know Ben? Cleverbot won't tell that information to you. User, how did Ben die? Cleverbot, you know. User, no, but how did he drown? Cleverbot won't tell that to you. User, why? Cleverbot, it is reserved for another. User, who? Cleverbot, another who asks. User, when? Cleverbot, later. The window is closed. I'm beginning to think that this thing maybe isn't Ben at all. In its sadistic nature, I wouldn't be surprised if it took the boy's name after it killed him. 12:04 p.m. My room is beginning to feel different again. There's something out there. I feel really threatened, like there is something that is trying to reach out to me and strangle me, but it can't quite get there. 12:46 p.m. I think Ben doesn't want to play with me anymore. I'll play again. I'll play the game again. Ben, can you see this? I'll play the game again. Please, just stop this, please, please. 1:41 p.m. I'm going insane trying to decide what is real and what isn't. Is Ben just playing a trick on me, or is this for real? Is Ben generating these replies, or are people actually posting them? Did I just see that screen flicker, or was it my imagination? Imagine depending on the internet and trusting your eyes for your entire life and then being blinded. You can't rely on it anymore. You second guess everything.
Colorblind, perhaps?
For the brief moments I am looking at my responses to the videos, people were pointing out things that looked fake or Photoshop or whatever, and there is literally no way for me to know if Ben changed something on
gonna
purpose
fucking
to
cheat
try
like a
and shut
cheater.
me up. Or if maybe those replies were just constructed by Ben to try and discourage me from even reaching out. See, I get fucking caught in an infinite mindfuck loop like this, and this is what has been wearing on my sanity and pushing me to the edge. As I'm writing this, there's no way of even telling if anyone even cares as much as I think they do. Just another fucking trick. Is this whole document even exist? Am I writing nothing? The 9th of September 10 Conversation 2. User, what is it? What's the point of playing? I die whenever I do anything. Cleverbot, you die because you can't figure out the secret. User, what? Cleverbot, thematic. User, what the fuck are you talking about? Cleverbot, there's beauty in your suffering. The window is closed. 4:09 p.m. Ben is making me play the game again. It tells me that it has something very important to show me. 6:23 p.m. Summary of the drowned. WMV playthrough. 9:09 p.m. Summary of children. WMV playthrough. September 10th, 2010. 11:52 a.m. The drowned. WMV playthrough was up when I woke up today. I remember typing it up, but I don't ever remember posting it. He censored it again. There is no mentioning of the old man. I have no voice anymore. I am only posting what he wants me to. I am the mask he uses to disguise himself as he lies. 11:55 a.m. There's an entire video summary of a video that I don't remember doing. Reading through the summary, this sounds morbid, resembling my dream from 2 nights ago, except on a far more sadistic scale. These moon children, there's something more to them, almost as if they're another entity from Ben.
God, I need to see if there's Fortnite creepypastas.
I'm posting the 4th summary to the forums now.
Oh, that'd be lit.
Shadow of my chair moved.
Slurp Juice Sam creepypasta.
Won't let me visit YouTube. I can browse the rest of the sites, but he keeps on exiting the window when I go to YouTube. Why? 2:02 p.m. I'm feeling the air start to constrict. I don't think I'm alone here. Whatever aura has been here is getting more violent. 2:44 p.m. I'm trying to contact Ben on Cleverbot. He's not responding. I just get the AI. 3:51 p.m. My ears aren't fooling me. I'm hearing the reverse song of healing. I keep hearing it. 4:23 p.m. Now I'm positive of it. Earlier I thought it was a weird coincidence, but just now I went to open my window and 3 floors down at ground level 1 saw the old man. I'm completely positive I did.
Oh shit, a
same
breakthrough.
guy. He was just staring up at my window, standing in the middle of campus.
Or definitely
If any
some
students
Minecraft
took notice of him, they
creepypastas.
didn't seem
Like
to
those for
acknowledge
sure
it.
exist.
That's where my notes end. I fled my room, taking the cartridge with me. I don't want to go into details of what happened. I'll lose my train of thought as I hammer out these last details. It's been roughly 2 days since then. This is my last summary and service to you of the final video you guys saw, Matt. WMV. The last video entry I made, Matt. WMV, began as normal. I was spawned in Clock Town as usual and nothing seemed to be out of place, determined to set things right and play the Oath to Order on top of the clock tower. On the 4th day, I prepared myself. I sped up time and got to the final day, making my way to the observatory. As I got up to the telescope room and approached the astronomer, he would not let me look into his telescope. He told me that it would be cheating and that I should follow the rules. Despite my repeated efforts, the game would not let me do the 4th day glitch, no matter how hard or what I tried.
Oh, you're still trying to cheat, bro? And
doing the glitch,
after all this shit that happened the first time you did it?
Regardless
What
of
the
if I
fuck
simply
is your
had
problem?
the illusion of free will in prior
I say as
games,
I just
this
cheated
time
in
the
Roller
game
Coaster
became
Tycoon
more
2.
aggressive than anything I've ever seen.
I
It
expect
eventually told
a
me
call
to go
from
to
a Cleverbot
Arcana
later
Canyon,
tonight.
where the game would end and it would stop haunting me. Anxious and desperate to end this nightmare, I played the Song of Soaring and ended up there. I was told to check my inventory, that I would find the answers there to end the game. I arrived at Arcana Canyon and saved my progress at the owl statue. As I searched through
This
my
is what
inventory,
happens when
I
you cheat in
finally
video
noticed
games,
that I was
guys.
missing a reoccurring song, the Elegy of Emptiness. Obviously, once I traveled there and learned the song, I suppose that was the last thing it needed before Ben decided it had had enough fun playing with me. Ben is a manipulator. He tries to fool his victims into security and makes you drop your guard like a Venus flytrap. He ensnares them. I am nothing but a puppet to him. He enjoys seeing what kind of human emotions he can tap into by doing different things. There are still some things about this whole experience that still don't make sense, but then again I never was good at figuring out these things and I'm not exactly in the right state of mind to. I'm giving you all the pieces of the puzzle for you to analyze and piece together the missing links.
Links,
I am typing
Adam.
these closing thoughts on the library
Nice
computer
plan.
on campus, and I have emailed myself the notes I have stored on my infected computer from the last 4 days. I'm then going to combine those, paste those notes with the closing openings that I've typed here on the safe public computer into one text document. I'm not taking any chances spreading Ben. I would not wish this horrible torment on anyone, and I've made sure to have my bases covered here. I didn't run into any problems with Ben when I was back on my computer trying to email myself. The notes went right under his fucking nose. He has no idea what he just let me do. Had no problems opening the text document from my infected computer in my email either. I can't describe to you how it feels to finally be able to get the word out in this post. The nightmare ends here. That said, do not download any of my videos or anything about my videos through a YouTube video, audio ripper, a screen grab, whatever. I don't know how he can spread, but I know that just watching him on YouTube, reading my text won't be able to allow him to spread, otherwise he wouldn't have needed my help in the first place.
Thank God.
But I strongly recommend you do not take anything you see streaming online onto your own personal computer. This will be my last posting I'm putting up on this forum here for the world. If you see any further posts from me after today's current date, September 12th and up to the current time, 12:08 AM, discredit them. It already has proven to me that Ben can access my account, password and manipulate my computer, and like I said, I have no idea to what extent it can do this, but know that it will do anything to break free. He is desperate. To ensure your safety, just forget about me. Please. And obviously this goes without saying, but from here on out, do not download any images I may have put up, any files, anything. This 5th day will be my last day. I'm going to burn the cartridge and then come back to destroy my laptop. Again, even though I don't even know you, this is sort of bittersweet for me. This semester I really didn't have any friends, or rather, I stopped paying attention to them. Free. WMV.
Free.
But I suppose
Free.
that's partially to blame because
WMV.
I'm the genius who picked to live in a single. I suppose someone to get a hold of me and save me before I got too immersed into this game would have literally saved my life. However, it proved too much for me. I'm just glad it happened to me and I could get the warning out so that Ben dies here. Lastly, thank you for taking the time to open this and open yourselves
Oh my
up
God,
to
you
me
want to
by
thank your
hearing
parents
my
too
story
and the
despite
academy?
maybe
And
not
what the
believing
fuck
me.
is this?
You didn't have to do that, really. You shouldn't have. Your support this entire time has kept me going and now I am finally free of this. Thanks again. Jadusable.
Holy. Is that the end? Yeah, looks... Jadusable? Okay. Damn, well that was epic. My God. Holy shit. Oh, he posted it to X? Nice. Amazing. Yes, I agree, Mr. Bruce. Amazing, incredible, long as fuck, and totally believable. Oh my God, guys, I'm gonna go right now and burn my copy of Majora's Mask right now. I know it's the 3DS version, but just to be safe, that I don't get hacked by Ben the Clever Bot, I'm gonna go throw that shit away right now. And I'm not downloading any videos or screen grabs from this dude. That's like a really good way of protecting your pasta from being stolen or reposted somewhere else under another name, is to give a warning at the end that if you steal this video, Ben is gonna be on your ass. It's like good copyright protection. Yeah, this Jadusable guy, forward thinking. I like it. Let me see. I'm not gonna watch the vids, but I want to see. Jadusable WMV, Drown WMV, Ben WMV. I think they probably would look pretty legit. I've never modded an N64 game, but I feel like it's doable to like change the animations on all this shit and whatever the fuck else was said. But oh my God. But I am glad that I finally heard it in its entirety, finally. But it also had this little prelude before the pasta that says, Ben Drowned, or Haunted Majora's Mask, is a well-known creepypasta, parentheses, and later an alternate reality game created by Alex Hall, also known as Jadusable, The story revolves around the Majora's Mask cartridge that's haunted by a ghost of a boy named Ben. Analysis and updates on a possible addition to the story from the original author can be found on the Deducible Wiki. My god, this dude has his own wiki. What I like to see on N64 games probably exists for other systems, but I like seeing N64 corruptions. Get some pretty interesting results. Deducible Wiki, oh my god. I mean, like, yeah, it was okay, but it wasn't that fucking great. Calm down, dude. Jeez. I mean, TBH, I think, illegal cosmetic surgery ruined my life. That warrants a wiki. But, you know, this was kind of weak. I don't know if it really gets its own wiki. Jesus Christ. Oh, but I guess this ARG is currently on indefinite hiatus. The Hubris arc, along with any canon activity, has been paused. Oh my god. No, do not post Cleverbot conversations in the discussion area or anywhere else on the wiki. Doing so will result in a ban. Get that ass banned. Why? Because I already did it and I don't want you stealing my idea. I guess props for using Cleverbot because it was contemporary to this when this creepypasta was posted. Which was 2010? No, wait. Well, sometime in 2010. I guess that matches up with the dates that were mentioned in the pasta. But shit. That's one off my creepypasta bucket list. There was another pasta somebody recommended a long time ago. That was like the Jimmy Rustlers or something like that. But I couldn't find a text copy of it, so I need to maybe like download the YouTube video of someone's narration or something like that. I mean, you can't really pass up a creepypasta called the Jimmy Rustler. Yeah, the Jimmy Rustler. Oh my god. That should be next time maybe. But shit, I think that'll do it for now. Gone on quite a while, and I believe everybody watching has been thoroughly spooked, so I believe it's a good idea for all of us to conclude and go change our pants right now. So let me nah, I'm not gonna save this. This is just bullshit. Well, I won't sleep tonight. Oh no. Ben drowned, brother. My god. Oh shit, the chat peeks out behind the game. Nice. Oh fuck. Well said, Japanese anime girl. So that'll do it. Thank you to everyone who came out and enjoyed some creepypasties with moi. I thought it was very fun, very educational. And we'll probably be doing the same next Wednesday. So long as Ben doesn't kill me in my sleep. Oh my god, bro. Very scared of that. But until then, I've been King Dolce, and you have been spooked. Thanks for watching. That's just a theory, ugh.